Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to another one. I wanted to weigh on this topic about Kid Cudi testifying at the Diddy trial. Some people are labeling him a rat. I want to also play what Chopper said from Making of the Band. He didn't particularly like the fact that Kid Cudi testified against him, and I want to know what you guys think about that because I when you think about it, so I want to weigh in on this topic as far as Kid Cudi. Do I think he's a snitch or not? I particularly don't think so. Um, in fact, that word that word has been used here throughout the years, and I think it's just a glorified term, a movie term for Hollywood. Because if you look at like the mafia in real life, I guess you can call a lot of them people snitches as well. Especially with this Rico situation back then, when I was growing up, it completely dismantled the mafia. They were giving mafia football numbers, mafia people football numbers, and people turned government witness because of it. Um, it's just a glorified term. I mean, people have been talking, you know, when their back's against the wall. It usually happens. Nobody wants to go to jail for like 20, 30 years. Nobody really does. But as far as this case is concerned involving Kid Cudi, Young Thug had, let me see, what did he say? He had tweeted, he deleted it, but he said, damn Cudi a rat. He put LOL. He had since deleted it. I guess he was getting some backlash over it. But that's neither here nor there. Chopper, he had to weigh in on it, and he said he really didn't particularly like that another black man had to take another black man down. Well, the situation has it that he was supposed to be messing around with Cassie. Now, here's my thing. I'm gonna tell you. So he was supposed to be messing around with Cassie, and then Diddy found out. Diddy got upset. Some things happened to his car. Okay, does that make him a rat for telling the court what happened? I don't think so. But he's also to blame too. I'm gonna tell you why. Because he knew Cassie was involved with Diddy. I'm sure he did. That's just how I feel about it. I feel like he knew about it. And if I know that somebody is dealing with somebody, I'm not gonna mess with them because that's usually how you get in trouble. I believe he knew. I believe he knew that she was dealing with Diddy. I'm pretty sure of it. I think so, even though he said he didn't. But I think he knew. And if he knew, then he's part to blame here. Even though I don't wish him getting his car blown up, that's not his fault. But you don't know how people are going to react. You got some crazy boyfriends out here. It's first of all, it's too many women out here. It seemed like all these people in the industry mess with the same women. That's what it seemed like. All these women out here, he got to go mess with Diddy's girl. Out of all the women out here, yeah, he said he was played, but I thought he was lying. I think he knew. I think he knew, man. You said he was playing. You said he was playing here and got caught up. Well, he definitely probably knew that Cassie was involved with Diddy. Okay, he more than likely knew that, and he he played a part in this too. You don't mess with somebody's girl, especially if you cool with them. Like if you're supposed to see when Diddy he come from because he said it. He said he thought Kid Cudi said Diddy said I thought we were cool. Now when he say I thought we were cool, he don't mean that we're best friends, but you know we have a rapport with each other, and being that we have a rapport with each other, you don't mess with my girl, man. If we got a rapport, but some people are grimy like that. And I'm not saying that he deserved to have his car blown up, but I understand. Okay, I do understand it. And you don't mess with other people. Girl, there's too many women out here. Okay, I believe he knew that Cassie was dead. I believe so. He gonna talk about he didn't know. I believe he did know. Okay. Bullshit. Bullshit. She's in a high profile relationship and you talking about you didn't know. Bullshit. 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 I was saying that when he was saying it. I said, this dude is sitting here lying. Hold on. Yeah, my bad. Changing some settings on this video. Um, I was like, this dude lying, yo. And like I said, when you mess with, especially with somebody, you mess with that girl, you never know if somebody's gonna go the distance or not. Okay. You never know. Let me say these settings. Because I know the troll's coming. And I got it. Boom. The troll activation has been armed. Thank you. Now proceed. Um, you never know if somebody gonna go the distance and not over their girl, man. That's just 100. You just never know. So don't do it. Okay? Don't do it. Just don't do it, man. Okay, so like I said, we're gonna get into what Chopper is saying. But what's up, Ryan? Just don't do it, man. Especially if you know she got a crazy boyfriend. You don't want to get involved. But see, I understand Cassie's cute and he shot his shot. But I honestly believe because when they were doing their cross examination, I think the lawyer said, well, she had a burner phone, right? I can't remember exactly, but she had a burner phone, right? I think he knew that. He knew she was dealing with a man. It's just that everybody got caught. That's just what it is. That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. He knew. Okay. I feel like he knew the whole time. So that's just what it is right there. Now, do you feel like he's a snitch or not? I would say no because he don't strike me as no in the life type of guy. As far as a street guy is concerned, he don't strike me as that. Even street guys, everybody ratting. Ain't no such thing as letting the people not ratting, yo. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they say, yo. So let's hear what Chopper's saying. He has some strong points here. Let's see. He testified that Diddy he broke in his house and set his car on fire.
That's a good one. Bit of, double-edged sword. Number one, I feel like the whole Cassie situation with the Kid Cudi situation, I feel like that's understandable. Women gonna do what they do. Period. Now, the thing that I want to get clear is with my art of dialogue interviews, you heard me, things that I said, you heard me, back in the G, I probably couldn't even say it because nobody would have believed me. But now that people understand that I was keeping it real, you heard me, keeping it G. When I told people when I was in Floyd Mayweather strip club and I seen Cassie and she's like, Chop, come here. And she told me that um did he blew up Kid Cudi car. It's ironic and funny that when it come out now, you dig everybody like, wow, y'all gonna see it now, you're gonna say, wow, everything Chop saying, bro, he's telling the truth. So how I feel about it is this. I didn't think Kid Cudi needed to beat up. You understand? I feel like Diddy has already been crucified enough. You heard me, to the point where he didn't need Kid Cudi to do that to him, because all Kid Cudi did as a black man is let these people know that he's capable of doing these things. Um, I didn't think Kid Cudi needed to be there. I didn't, as a black man, as a woman, as a black woman, or just a woman, period, that's understandable. But as a black man, you don't go and kick a man while he's down. And I felt like it was allegedly, because even this, and this is a real source for my people who went to court. Shout out to my dog Rennie. You heard me? Just got off the phone with him. He went to court today because he keep me updated on what's going on. And he told me that everything was Kid Cudi kept saying was allegedly, which means I have no valid proof that Diddy actually did that. Because when Kid Cudi called Diddy, he said Diddy was just calm, he was cool, he was collective, and Diddy was like, "What are you talking about?" So as a black man, and this has nothing to do with race, but period, as a black man, I thought it was a sucker move for Kid Cudi to go there and testify, because I know they didn't subpoena him. I think that he.
No, he's not calling him a snitch. He just don't like the fact that he testified against another black man. Teach his own. But I do feel like Kid Cudi knew that Cassie was dealing with Diddy. I feel like he knew. They had a high profile relationship. How could he not know? He said he thought they were done. I don't believe that. I don't believe that, man. I believe that he knew and they were sneaking around and got caught. That's what I believe. He didn't say that, but that's what I believe. And see, when you do stuff like that, things like this happen. You're never supposed to mess with another man's woman, because there's so many other women out here that is single. Okay? You said Diddy was messing around with other women. What you said, that's not what I'm talking about. That's a different story. You saying Diddy was messing around with other women. No, I'm talking about Kid Cudi. You got to read the title. We stay in focus here. We trying to figure out, did Kid Cudi do the right thing? I feel like if he wanted to testify, I don't have a problem with that, because he's not a street guy. Even if he's a street guy, I wouldn't have a problem with it, because they all snitching any damn way. Okay? They're all snitching. Not all of them, but some are. The most are. The streets is dead. Ain't no such thing as street code. And there's no such thing as honor amongst men. There's no such thing. Honor amongst thieves or nothing, or criminals. There's no such thing. Okay? It's a crab in a barrel mentality out in these streets. And that's just what it is. So I don't care about that. But I'm just playing Chopper's take on it now. Ain't about the cheating situation. Is it okay for him to, he's saying it's not okay for him to talk against Diddy. What I'm saying is Kid Cudi knew that. See, you're saying that, well, Diddy had other girls. I'm trying to teach young people for a minute, because a lot of these young guys ain't got fathers out here. And they ain't got OGs to tell them how to move on these streets. You never mess with another man's girl if you know that dude messing with her. Okay, this is what's going to keep you from dying prematurely. Okay, we don't want to hear that Diddy had a bunch of women. See, with some guys, they don't care if they're dealing with a bunch of women. But if you deal with that woman, they're going to have a problem with it. And it's been like that. It's just that they don't have people giving them instructions out here, and they don't know how to fucking move out here. No, he wasn't supposed to mess with Cassie, okay? I don't care what you ladies are saying, because y'all need to be raising y'all men right. There's no reason for him to be messing with her and knowing that Diddy was messing with her, period. That's how you die out here, okay? I'm speaking facts. Y'all could just have a seat for a minute, okay? I was raised by some OGs in the 80s. Nothing has changed. I don't care if the dude got a harem of women. You don't mess with his woman, because then he might come and kill you. Okay? Because that's what almost happened. Allegedly. So yes, I'm serious about this, because you know why most people are in jail right now? You know why? And why people are dying over women. And it shouldn't be that way. because they ain't had no OGs and had no fathers to teach them how to move out here. There's plenty of women out here all over the world. You don't have to be dealing with your women in your city. Get a passport. There's women all over the fucking world. Go to Brazil. There's more sisters in Brazil than the United States. Anybody know that? There's more sisters in Brazil than in the United States. So if you can't find one here, go to Brazil because there's sisters there. Because there's more black people in Brazil than the United States. Everybody know that, right? There is more black people in Brazil than the United States. There's a continent of Africa, then there's Brazil, then there's us, and then there's the islands. So if you can't find what you're looking for here, if there's not enough women in your city, go to Brazil, man. And some of them speak English. You just got to go look. Go to Salvador Bahia and thank me later. Because I've been there. It's like little Africa over there. And they got more people of color in Brazil than they do in the United States. You're not supposed to be messing with your partner's girls because that's how you end up in the goddamn dirt prematurely. Now, he claimed that he didn't know. He claimed that he didn't know. I don't believe him. Just by the way he was looking on the stand, I could tell he was lying. Now, I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. I was there. He can't fool me. He can fool y'all. He can't fool me. I knew he knew Cass was messing with him, yo. Bullshit. Okay? Bullshit. Okay? And then he gonna take his ass up there and testify. Because I don't expect nothing less from him. Okay? He got himself in his damn mess. He knew she was messing with that dude, man. Leave her alone. But he couldn't leave her alone because she looked good and he was tender dick. That's why. That's why he couldn't leave her alone. You're supposed to listen. And another thing with ladies, you're sitting up here, getting in another relationship, knowing that you got a crazy ex that you couldn't get rid of yet. And now you're going to put this new guy through this bullshit. She was trifling for that. She was. Okay? She's sitting up there having freak offs and dealing with Kid Cudi because you know how Diddy found out? From a freak off. That's how he found out she was dealing with Kid Cudi. She found out that he found out that she was dealing with Kid Cudi when he went through her phone during a freak off. Listen, before you move on, you got to get that freak off shit out your life before you move on. Okay? Before you move on. Before you move on. Please get the freak offs out of your life because you almost got this man killed. Most men get killed over a woman. Okay? She was trifling too. You sitting up here having freak offs and dealing with Kid Cudi. And Kid Cudi was trifling because he knew it. I don't care what he say. I don't care. He said, yeah, she played us both. If a woman got to call you from a burner phone, she got a man. That's just 100. So what can we learn from this? Do not mess with, if you know, I can see a lot of us mess with women that deal with other men, but if you know the man, you don't have to be super cool with him, but if you know him, you got a rapport, whether it's a business rapport, whatever. He got a woman, leave his woman alone. I'm just telling you this. Now, if you don't know the man, I particularly don't like dating women with men. I don't. And I can tell if a woman got one. I could tell, just like how they could tell if we got a woman, I could tell they got a man. I could tell. Okay? I could tell. Okay, I can definitely tell. There's too many women out here. I tell you, go to Brazil, they got more sisters over here than the United States. Sisters. And someone can speak English. Absolutely. So if you can't find them in your city, just go somewhere else. You don't have to be sitting up. That's why I say in Hollywood, they messing with the same one. Everybody's sharing each other's women. It's crazy. He lucky he got out of this with his life. He lucky. Because some men don't play. If they find out you messing with their women, they be ready to put you in the dirt. That's why men be getting killed for just left and right. It's usually over a woman. Usually it is. And usually guys be going to jail is usually over a woman. About 90% of the time. Why do people sell drugs and risk it all for the fast money and all that so they can buy all these fancy cars and clothes just to impress women? That's why. It's stupid, but that's just really what it is. You said Hollywood is all right. They need to go outside the box. But he knew that this woman was dealing with Puff. Okay. She has to, what she had to do is, I'm not sure she ain't gonna make this mistake no more. But she had moved on, got her another man, and still was messing with Puff. She had to, her new man called her on FaceTime. She exit the FaceTime out because she in bed with Puff. She trifling too. See, this is not a public, it's not what do you call it? A popular thing to say about her. But at that point, at that time, she was trifling. Okay, I'm just saying it. We got to be fair here. Puff all the way trifling. She all the way trifling. People just could be trifling. I'm not saying she trifling now, but you got to get your shit together before you move on with another man. There's some men out here is fucking crazy as cat shit. And now you're going to get the other man caught up in some shit because you're trifling. That's what happened. I don't see, that's my take on it. If he want to sit up there on the stand and paint, then that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. He's not no street guy or anything like that. He's Kid Cudi. Just because he's a rapper don't mean, like, I know Young Thug came out and said he the one, he don't need to be talking. If somebody don't need to be, just Young Thug don't need to be talking. Yeah, go the distance. You know, I used to say that, LaShane. Some men out here go the distance on you. And you know what I mean by that? That means in a body bag. They literally go the distance over your female now. When I talk to a female, I don't have to ask her if she got a man. Her actions will tell me. I don't have to ask. I just need to pay attention to a few things, and then I'll know if she got a man or not. Okay. I would know. I would know if she got a man or not, and I know if she dealing with a team too. Women to be trying to deal with stables. Yes, they do, because they feel like they can lie better than men. That's not true. Did you know that? That was a myth. You just have to pay attention. Most men don't pay attention. You just have to pay attention. Okay? Most try to run stables, but you got to pay attention. Is she running a stable? It's nothing wrong if she running a stable or not, but it's rather if you want to deal with it or not. Okay? Because some women, they run a stable. Yes, y'all do. Y'all can run a stable. You think she gave Cudi's Addy because she was scared, right? Because she got caught. That's why she gave that's why she gave up the address to Puck, because she was scared. He said, "Give me that MFN address. Give me that ninja's address right now," and she gave it to him. Okay, I get it. She gave it to him. Okay, so that was bad, but she had to, because I guess she felt she was getting ready to get, but she still got kicked in the back. He shouldn't have done that either, especially with drugs involved and somebody already insecure, and they druggy and they drinking and drugging. That's a bad combination. Okay. Michael B. Jordan said, "I ain't doing this bullshit," because you ain't hear that they only hear talk about Michael B. Jordan for a hot second. I know why. Oh no, I'm not dealing with Puff. I'm not dealing with this bullshit. Sorry, Cat. I'm not dealing with this bullshit. Okay. What I'm trying to say is, I'm not trying to knock her and kick her in the back right now. What I'm trying to say is, ladies, if you got a crazy ass dude, get over that situation first before you try to move on. Because that's how people end up in the dirt prematurely over your ass. Okay? Prematurely. Okay? And guys, okay, don't get mad at the other guy. Get mad at her. Don't get mad at the other guy. But you got to learn to move on. You don't got to do nothing to her either. You just got to move on. I know it hurts, but you got to move on. And I know what people don't understand. Max, he had a bunch of women himself. I'm trying to tell you, ladies, some crazy men out here don't care about that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They don't care. He said it on the Breakfast Club. He said he's the crazy boyfriend. He said it. He said, it's hard to get rid of me. He said on the Breakfast Club, and Charlamagne was like, well, what happens if she get married and have kids? He said that was the only reason why I stopped. He said that. He's the crazy boyfriend. Okay? Some of you got crazy ass exes out here, because shit almost happened to me. I have a video that I did a long time ago. It's still on my channel. That I had met somebody on this site a long time ago called Plenty of Fish. I don't recommend. I hope that damn website is shut the fuck down. I hope so. I knew it was too good to be true. I knew it was. I said, this is too good to be fucking true. We met up at Fridays. No, we didn't meet up at Fridays. We met up at this barbecue spot that I ain't live too far from. I live up the street from. I had all type of plans. I don't Febreze my sheets in my house. You know what I'm saying? I had some extra towels that I can warm up. You see what I'm saying? I had the wine, everything at my house for a nightcap. Okay? I had everything. I had candles, everything, like the Glad candles, like Puff. I had that too. I had the Glad candles because, you know, Puff like the Glad candles. I do too. I know it's some ghetto hood shit, but that's how he did. He don't give a damn. He got all that money. He like Glad candles. But now I moved to the Yankee candles. But yes, I Febreze my sheets. I sure did. I Febreze my sheets and my couch. Everything was smelling good, right? I even had the silk pillows so she ain't had to wrap her hair up. What y'all know about that? Y'all know nothing about that. I even got a blow dryer in the house for her. Everything. Okay. Extra toothbrushes. I had it all. Okay. Because look, if you're a single man, you know what I'm talking about. You got all that. You got the hair dryer for her. You got the silk bed pillowcases so she ain't got to wrap her hair up. And you got a little wrap thing scarf if she needed. Because you got all that. And you got a bunch of snacks in the refrigerator. Okay. Now, I just knew I was gonna get lucky that night. I just knew it. So I was like, yeah, because we was talking for a minute. You know, you talk on the phone for a minute. Because I'm the type I gotta talk to you for a minute. So she had told me she have an ex, but he's in jail. He was in jail. She told me he was in jail, but I wasn't thinking about it. She said he in a halfway house. So we met up. This dude followed her all the way to the barbecue spot. And we sitting up there at the bar because I bought her a drink and I had bought a beer. I never forget I bought a Heineken. We were getting ready to order something to eat, and here this dude come out of nowhere. And then he came right to my face. He didn't go to her face. He came right to mine. You know who the fuck I am and this and that. You know who I said, you know what I'm saying? You know who the fuck I am and this and that, how I give it up and all that. He looked like he'd been lifting weights for his whole jail sentence. And he said, yeah, I'm really about it and something he was saying. And they got to arguing right up there, causing a scene. And let me tell you what I did. I did it so real clean. I told while they sitting up there arguing, causing a scene, I told the bartender, here, let me just pay my beer. I ain't pay for hers. I paid for mine. I said, because his ass might as well go ahead and pay for it now. I said, let me pay for my drink. Give you a few dollars. Let me get out. I said, this is a back door, right? She said, yeah. So they sitting up there arguing. I said, I'll be right back. I got to go to the bathroom. They still arguing. I went out the back. I couldn't get to my car fast enough. I was going to my car. I could not get to my car fast enough. And you know how you start up the car and just quickly put it in park. You don't even give it time to give it gas. You just put it in park. I just got the fuck up out of there. I got out of there. So what I'm trying to tell you is, would y'all please empty y'all cup before you get into another relationship, please. Ladies, please. Cassie, please. Okay? That's what I was thinking when I was sitting up there in court. You should see my notes. I said, this woman was trifling at that particular time. I'm not saying she trifling now. That was her past life. But I wrote down, oh, Lord, this woman trifling. She's sitting up there. You mean to tell me he found out that she was with Kid Cudi out of a freak off? That mean you still freaking off. But anyway, Kid Cudi knew about it, so he trifling too at that time. I'm not saying he trifling now. But I'm not mad at him for testifying. You know what I'm saying? Because his car got burnt up, even though he was partly responsible that his car got burned. Yes, I know what y'all saying. Yeah, he was. How Max? How I hear somebody now? How Max? How was he responsible? Because you ain't supposed to be messing with some crazy ass dude girl, yo. And you know, that's why. Okay, so we don't know what Capricorn gonna say tomorrow. I mean Tuesday. We don't know what she about to say. You said smart man, she's gonna blow the toilet up anyway after that barbecue. Yeah, that's something else. You ever had somebody stay over your house and they blow the bathroom up? You ever had that? And they think you sleep and they just blowing it up. You ever had that happen to you? Yeah, that's when you went. That's when you know you're in a relationship if you can blow the bathroom up around each other. But this right here, oh, you have the bathroom toilet bowl disc. You know, the water turn blue. That helps it. With the bathroom I had at the time, it had a nice loud fan. You know what I'm saying? That mask everything. Max, do you think Diddy is embarrassed? I mean, he knew this was gonna come out anyway. He already mentally prepared himself for this. He already knew this was gonna happen. But let me finish up what Chopper saying.
Willingly went up there and did some sucker nigga shit. But on the other end of the double-edged sword, Kid Cudi, he never glamorized gangster. He never glamorized thug. So at the end of the day, he's a poet and he's an artist. And he is also a Samaritan. So how can we, as the black minority people, feel a way when a Samaritan get up there and do that? So that's why I say, it's a double-edged sword, is because where I'm from, that's not right. Because you don't kick a man while he's down, especially a black man coming from nothing. You understand? But on the other end of my other conscience, he quite didn't do anything wrong because he's a Samaritan. He's not a thug. He's not a gangster. He don't live a street life. So I guess that goes how it goes, or that gets played how it goes. You understand? Because there is no right and wrong with that situation. Because you can't. You could distinguish a Samaritan from a street person. Period. So I feel like Kid Cudi is a Samaritan, and at the end of the day, if he feel like, you heard me, he had the right to do that there, then so be it. Because as a human being and as a Samaritan, if I wasn't raised and came up as an adolescent in the world that I came up in, and someone done me that, it's them too. So at the end of the day, a Samaritan and a street dude is not the same. You can't categorize them in the same aspect. So that's that. If he felt like he had the right to do that for his reasons, you dig, so be it. You dig? Because he's not categorized as a gangster, a street dude. So I can't feel no way totally. I can just feel away from a black man. And as a black man, I didn't feel like it was necessary to do. But as a Samaritan, now at my age now, and the things that I own and that I'm doing, you understand? I don't. You have the right to do whatever you want to do as a Samaritan. And that's the correct answer to go about, because that's right. It's not about good or bad. It's not about having favoritism. It's about what's right. And if you felt like it was right for him to do that, then so be it. Yeah. And no one can question that either. No matter how we feel, no one can question a Samaritan for doing the right thing for himself. Make sense, Marty?
Makes a lot of sense. But looking at it,
So that's Chopper what he had to say about Cudi about that. Like I said, I don't mind him testifying. I mean, he don't strike me as somebody that holds those principles. I mean, he was wrong, really. I mean, he wasn't supposed to be messing with the dude's girl, but he still was wrong. He claimed Diddy allegedly had something done with his car, so that wasn't right. Because you're supposed to curb your feelings. Because I know he was just all the pieces at that point, but damn, blowing somebody's car up. I mean, not blowing it up, but setting on fire. That's where things got a little hairy there. And I know what people are saying. Well, Diddy had multiple girls. Why couldn't he understand? These guys. Some of these guys don't understand, ladies. Some of these guys do not understand. They don't. I know what you're saying. If it's good enough for him, it should be good enough for her. I get it. But some men don't think that way. And you know if you got a crazy man or not. So before you move on, get the crazy man out your life first. Or something. And guys, don't be going over women's houses like that. And especially when you just meet them, because you don't know if they live alone. You don't know if they separated and the dude could just barge over. You don't know that. I know a lot of guys I grew up with, they're either locked up or lost it because of that. There's a guy I went to school with. I'm not going to say his name, but what happened to him was crazy. He lost his life. And his baby mother told the people where he was at, the people that was looking for him. His baby mother told him that she was mad with him. And she's out here walking scot-free, knowing that she had that man killed. I'll never forget that. Just because she was mad, because people were looking for him. And they were looking for him, and she told them where he was. Because she was mad with him. Now that child grew up. That child is grown now. The child that he had, that is a boy. He grown now. He got to be in his late 20s. He grown. No, in his 30s. He late 20s going on 30. He grown. He grew up without a father because he never knew his father because the kid was young at the time. He had to be like 1 at the time. He didn't know his father. And I wish I could tell him the reason why you ain't have your father because of your mother. That's the reason. And she's out here walking scot-free. And that happened. I'll never forget that. And it happened to a couple of people I know. That's why you gotta use this. You have to pray when you date somebody these days. You gotta pray. But I get that she wanted to move on because she wanted to have some sense of normalcy. That's why she probably was with Kid Cudi. She wanted the man to show her attention. Like she said, she just wanted Diddy she wanted to be with him. But she wasn't getting that. So I get it too. But I think the lawyer was trying to elude the fact that Kid Cudi knew about it. I think so too. I think he knew, but it was just sneaking around. It was that song. What's that song? Me and Mrs. Jones. Remember that song? That's what that's about. Me and Mrs. Jones, man. I was listening to that song early. I said that was Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi had a Me and Mrs. Jones going on. It's a beautiful song, but it's about cheating. But yeah, man, some guys, they don't see it that way. They like, I don't care if I got a bunch of women, you can't have mine. It's crazy, right? But it's like that. I also listened to another lawyer. Shout out to the guy, Real Life Production. He put out some good stuff. This lawyer that's talking, his name is Larry Taylor, Real Life Lawyer. He said something is up with this case. He said something is coming. He said they have to tie the RICO into this. He said he believes that the whatever witness that's going to bring this open, it hasn't come yet. He said it's coming, and he feels like the prosecutors are rocking the defense to sleep. He said they have something, they have to. And he said it's coming. He believes, check this out. He believes that Cassie was a co-conspirator. He believes that something happened to one of the dancers. Something happened to him. And she was there, what makes her a co-conspirator. I don't know if I quite believe that. But he said something is coming. He definitely said that. Let me play a little bit of it. He definitely said something is coming. He said you have a cousin who's doing life for killing his girlfriend who didn't want to be with him anymore. See, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of that going on. And I'm telling God, don't do that. Don't do that. Let me tell you why. If she don't want to be with you no more, right? She just don't want to be, because sometimes people will wake up one day. People change. They be like, I don't want to be in this relationship no more. You could have did the right things and everything. But I want to say this to you. It's gonna hurt. Go through the hurt. Go through it. Go through the emotions, go through the hurt, and time will heal it. And you're gonna meet somebody that's gonna make you feel like you're gonna be glad that you didn't crash out. You're gonna meet somebody different. This is what I want you to do. If that happens to you, feel real hurt, you just really, really hurt, I want you to go get a passport. And I want you to save your money and I want you to go out of the country. And once you do that, you're going to be so happy that you didn't crash out. There's too many people sitting up in prison right now because they crashed out. Too many. I would say 90%. I would say close to 85% that's in there now, or maybe a little less, maybe 70%. They crashed out when they wasn't supposed to. So that's what I want to say to you. And I know people could get upset what I'm saying. Don't pay them no never mind. Because I've had a father figure and people tell me the right thing. A lot of people don't have that. So I'm giving the game to somebody that need it. If something happened and you real hurt over it, she don't want to deal with you no more. You know, now you don't found out she with another guy now. She don't want to deal with you no more. Do not crash out. Do not crash out. This is what I want you to do. If you feel like you about to crash out, you just can't take it. 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks don't pass, you still feeling bad, get you a passport. And I need you to go see some other women. And I'm telling you right now, once you do that, you're going to be glad you didn't crash out. You need to just get out of the country. And I guarantee when you get out of the country, take that long ass plane ride, you're not even going to be thinking about crash. You're going to be like, damn, I'm glad I didn't crash out. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't crash out. So just keep that in mind because time heals everything. Or it makes it easier for you to deal with over time. You said single cruises, go on a cruise. Hold on, let me go back.
And right now, it's the government's case. And so I was like everyone else, like, why did they put her on first? But now I get it. I think I truly understand. And so I'm hoping that my track record of being 11 for 11 correct on what's happening with the case. I hope I'm keeping my track record intact. But I think I honestly see where the government is going with this.
Got you. Because a lot of people don't, right? A lot of people are like, they keep making her disclose her sexual deviancy, if you will, and they keep talking about abuse. And they're all like, we're trying to tie this into sex trafficking, but we don't see it yet. So where are we missing this? Like,
I think, honestly, the whole thing with the sex and the whole thing with the assault, smoke and mirrors. The prosecutor is basically putting that up, and the defense is biting on it and really defending that when that's not really the crux of the matter. So if you look, there are 2 allegations of sex trafficking. There are 2 allegations of sex trafficking. There's the racketeering,
Right.
and then there's 2 other charges. I'm trying to think of what they are.
We might look that up real quick.
Real quick, I have what they are. So it's the 2 allegations of racketeering, and then transportation to engage in prostitution. So those is two counts of that. And so you think about it. They didn't really allege that Cassidy was sex trafficked. Right? They didn't really. And so
did y'all hear what he said? I'm rewinded back. I do feel like they're coming with something. They're like rocking him to sleep. Remember, he's been charged with 2 counts of sex trafficking. With who though? I believe that person is coming. Whoever it is, that person is getting ready to testify. They did something. Listen.
Think about it. They didn't really allege that Cassidy was sex trafficked. Right? They didn't really allege that she was brought or prostituted. So
right.
You hear this? He said they never said that she was the one that was being sex trafficked. There's somebody else. There's somebody else that's coming. That's what I believe too. I said, something's not right here. The government wouldn't put on a case like this for no reason. They got to have something. And because I remember them saying when she came out with that, lawsuit, the government, they say, came out in court. The government contacted her 2 weeks later, which means that there had been a file on him already. There's already been complaints on him already. You know how people say, well, how is this going on? How is he doing all this and nobody's complaining? No, people have been complaining. Now go back to Jonathan Oddie for a minute. He's missing. He's nowhere to be found right now. That don't mean he's dead. He's in the system, but he's being quiet. Something happened. Something happened with one of the people. Something happened. I honestly believe something may allegedly have happened, and she took part in it. And what happened, this lawsuit that she had opened up Pandora's box because they've been watching the whole time. Right. You said there are 4 other victims. Yeah, something's going on. We'll find out eventually. Listen to what he's saying.
It seems the other way around. It seems like.
right.
Yeah.
So at first I was kind of like, okay, what are they getting at? What is the prosecution really wanting to prove with having her on so early, and why did they put the male escort up first?
Right.
And so I'll tell you right now that the 2 bombshells are later to come with the 2 individuals that they're going to have and come and speak to how they were sex trafficked and how they were transported. How did they get there? Now, you can almost think that the first escort was part of that, right? But he really, in essence, even though sex trafficking, the laws on that are broad, right? They started off in 1909 or 1910, and then they were amended later on, I think in the 80s. But the thing is, they're so broad, he could be basically used to prove sex trafficking, because remember, it was a time that both Diddy and Cassie said, let's bring him to New York.
Mm-hmm.
And so they flew him in to New York. Now, as broad as the law is, we could be looking at part of the transportation, part of bringing him in, compensating him to perform a sex act. And so that could be part of it. But the thing is, you really don't need the coercion or the collusion of Cassie and or the whole issue with her being beaten, traumatized, and all of that to prove these cases. So why are you really emphasizing all of this? this. Racketeering requires conspiracy. And so I was listening to some of the other lawyers and people talk about it, and it's like, well, it's very hard to prove a conspiracy of one and all of this, and it's rarely done. Cassie is not here to prove anything other than the racketeering because she's the co-conspirator.
Yeah, she the co-conspirator, folks. She the co-conspirator. That was it. Something happened, and they brought her. I believe they brought her in and say, "Look, we got you. We've been watching. Okay, we've been watching, and we've been watching." So they had a file on him, I believe. I honestly believe that. This is my belief. I believe they had a file on him. And people had already complained already. So they're like, oh, don't worry about it. We got him. Just wait a minute. Because like they move at snail's pace. They will watch you. They had a file on Dr. King. Did y'all know that? They were watching Dr. King because he was with so many women and they were recording it. And then they sent it to his wife. But see, she had already knew. They had an understanding. So that didn't break. They thought that was going to shame him, but it didn't. Yeah, they have been following King. Imagine the technology they have now at their fingertips to follow somebody. None of this I can prove, but I'm just saying she had to have been a part of the conspiracy. She had to be. There's something else coming. I like I said, I believe with him, the bombshell stories are coming. And then the government will wrap this up. And you remember we heard that some of the witnesses, they're going under pseudonyms, and like the defense didn't know, and they had said, we want all our exhibits. We don't want this to be a trial by ambush. There were certain witnesses they didn't want him knowing at first. There was some witness, something going on. We're going to find out. She was with him too long. She's with him for over 11 years for not to have done something. Something is coming. But she's exempt because she already did her part. She testified. She's already done her part. So, because I'm like, I've been studying it. Like, it has to be a criminal organization. There's certain criteria that have to be met. And I think it'll probably easily be met as the weeks go on. They'll tie it up and bring it together. They have to. But we'll see, though. We'll see.
Is break that down. She's the co-conspirator how? Because she's the co-conspirator because in order for you to have the racketeering portion of it, you have to make an agreement that we're going to commit a crime. And racketeering and conspiracy is different than just conspiracy because conspiracy usually involves just that one act. Like we're going to rob this bank. Racketeering and conspiracy means multiple instances of breaking the law for a particular end. The transportation of the prostitutes were part of that. And since I've been on this show, I've always told you that the main thing that get you caught up is the transfer of money through wire, Cash App, and some of the other acts, or some of the other means. That all the elements are met. She's the co-conspirator. The crime is prostitution. You can even throw in money laundering if they paid cash. Because now...
Yeah, remember she said it. Yep, and now I get it. She said on the stand that she was the one that paid cash. It was usually cash. Yep, she was the co-conspirator. They got it. The government is even though this case is like, I know what people are saying, they got to prove it. I believe they did already. Because she said she was the one that paid them. And she paid them in cash. That's money laundering. Facts. Because you're paying them for an act that's not legal. Yeah, they going at a roundabout fashion. That's what they're doing. They're doing this They're slowly unpacking this. That's what they're doing. They are dog walking them. That's what they're doing right now. They have to be. Because I'm telling you guys, I couldn't figure this. I'm like, what's going on here? This is not like the mafia. This is not gang activity. This is prostitution across state lines. And she said it. She already said it. She said, yeah, we used to fly them in Miami, New York, California, Vegas, Cannes, Ibiza. She said this. She named them all. And then she said she paid them in cash for his direction. They got it. They got it. This is slick. They got it. And when they do their closing, they're going to say that in their closing. They're going to say that in their close. She was a co-conspirator. And here's a unique part about it. She was a co-conspirator and victim at the same time, if that makes sense to you. Remember this. You remember the hotel video. You remember she was leaving and she got beat up? All you have to do is say no one time. You could agree to the freak offs for the past 5-6 years. Once you say no the first time, it's no. That's illegal. I've been talking to a lot of attorneys about it. They said it's something they're doing. They can't really, a lot of people say they gotta look. One attorney told me I gotta go back to her testimony again. I got to go read the transcripts. So there's a lot of people now that's reading the transcripts and they're catching it. There's a lot of analysts. This is what's throwing people off, folks. A lot of analysts that's giving their opinion on this, they're not at the trial. They're not there. So they're missing something. So my boy went back and read the transcript. He said, yo, Matt, hit me up real quick. He said, did she pay them in cash? I said, yeah, she said that. Did she say it was at his direction? Yeah, she said that's it. He said she's a co-conspirator, fam. She's a part of the conspiracy, but she's testifying. That's why I think maybe the defense wanted her back. They wanted her back because it's too late now. She's been up there 4 days. But on top of it, you could consider her a victim as well. This is a very unique case to study. It's very unique. But I know a lot of people were thrown off. They was like, wait a minute, wait. Like, what exactly did she say, Max? And then he had to go read the transcript. Hold on 1 second. The money is in the details. The money is in the details. She said she paid them with cash, not check, cash. And she said, here's another thing she said. Watch this, folks. She said she put out an ad and they thought they were coming for a bridal party, right? And when they came there, she said, hey, listen, me and my husband wanted to, do something for my birthday, right? I got cash for you. And then afterwards, they paid her more cash. She probably did, but we don't know if she got immunity. They didn't say. They did not say. Okay, but she said she paid in cash. She set this up. She the one called the ads. She the one said her name was Veronica Bang. Okay? She changed her name. She the one told them when we hear this is what we want to do. She was a part of it. She worked it. She was a part of it. But I guarantee you there was somebody that they hired that something happened to them. Because Jonathan Adi said that he woke up, he was drugged, and he woke up and his backside was hurting. Remember that? Yeah, this ain't over. This is not over. I believe a huge explosion is coming. The way that these prosecutors is doing this is cold work. It's cold how they doing it. Now, Like I said, the defense could say, look, this is just nothing but DV. This is nothing but domestic violence. Well, wait a minute. Crossing state lines for the purposes of prostitution is illegal. Can you prove that they crossed the state? Well, she said it. She said, well, we would pay them, and we go here, Vegas, Ibiza, Cannes, or wherever. She said there got to be something else coming, bro. It has to be. These are just my thoughts, right? I'm reacting to what this lawyer was saying. So that's the point of this video. And also Chopper and Young Thug calling him a snitch. I honestly don't think he's a snitch. No, I wouldn't call him that. I wouldn't call him a snitch, man. Kid Cudi. He doing the right thing. But he know next time, don't mess with people, girls, man. Especially if you know they crazy. Just don't do it. Just stay out of the way. Mind your business. And that's it. I hate to say it like that, because you might say to yourself, well, Max, it wasn't his fault. His car got firebombed. I get it. Or cassette on fire. I get it. But guys, I'm going to tell you something. We're living in crucial times. You got to be careful out here. You have to be careful out here, because I'm going to tell you why. I watched a hold on one second. Yeah, so it's crazy out here. And you got to be careful, because I feel like, especially with the times the way they're going now, something don't seem right. I know I saw this one video. This guy feel like time has sped up on us, and he said things are just feeling off. People are extra aggressive, so you really got to be careful out here. Yeah, you got to really be careful out here. And that's why I stay to myself. I watch stuff and I just stay, you know what I'm saying? Because people are crazy out here, man. You got to be careful. Like, you can't, like, he shouldn't have never been dealing with her. That's what I'm just going to tell you. Kid Cudi, he shouldn't have never been. But I know things happen. She probably wanted a sense of normalcy. She wanted to be in a relationship with a sense of normalcy. So I get it. And probably, they had a good time together. You know what I'm saying? He probably was treating her like how she wanted Puff to treat her. And money ain't got nothing to do with it. But so that's that for Kid Cudi. Then I moved on to the next thing. Where is the government going with this? Because a lot of people are saying, Max, this is not sex trafficking. This is not RICO. I said, well, wait a minute. You got to hold on. It ain't over yet. That's what I'm maintaining. Like, this ain't over yet. And you got to think about, she was a co-conspirator, man. She had to have witnessed something out this 11 years. You know what I'm saying? And it has not came out yet. Did he sleep with these men? It hasn't come out yet. I'm not saying he did, but they haven't mentioned it. As I go back to what Jonathan Audi said, is what he said was true? I don't know. But now people are going back to his original interrogation video and saying, wait a minute. You know why? Because she named Jonathan Audi on the stand. Oh, yeah, that's Jonathan. She named him on the stand. She named him. She hit him up. She was the one that hit him up and paid him. Oh my God. She was the one that did it. She named him on that stand. She named him. So we'll see what happens. This is a very, very good case, y'all, to follow. It's real good on both sides. It's real good. So we'll see what the strategy is for the defense next week when a few of these people hit the stand. We'll see how they navigate through this. But I'm pretty sure they probably working right now, coming up with the strategy and maybe changing the strategy or whatever the case is. I believe me offer him a deal to get out, probably. Oh boy. They make it offer him a deal to get out because I believe he did that because he might have lost his mind. Because something may have happened to him. There's a reason for everything. Because he shot up the Trump club, President Trump. He shot up his golf club spot. That's why he's in jail. But he's been silent. He's been silent. I remember Tisa making a video saying, "Where is he? Is he missing?" No, he's not missing. He might be on the low for a reason. This has been set up. I believe when he was saying all these allegations, they looked into it. I believe they did. And I'm gonna tell you guys right now, for the Department of Homeland Security to get involved, he's not getting a pardon. That's out. I know they may be thinking about it, but that's out the case. That's not the case. And I'm not just saying nothing to be saying. I'm just going off what I see. I don't watch TV. I don't watch TV at all. You know what I'm saying? I stopped watching TV, man. I'm not really watching the coverage on this because I'm there. So, and I believe he's sitting there like, I know she's sitting up there and she was a part of this shit with me. I know this ain't right. But hey, man, you the one they going after, not her. Okay? She's a victim as well. Because when we watched the video, we said, yeah, she's a victim as well. Yeah, she's a victim as well. And the crazy part about it is she was leaving a leg break off because Jules was there. Yeah, he is a supporter of Homeland Security. Hello. Thank you, Ryan, for reminding us that. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Homeland Security. Part of what he's doing right now, trying to kick people out, that's Homeland Security. Yes, he is a part of it. No, he didn't testify yet. If I don't know if he's going to, oh boy, but no, he hasn't testified. But yes, she is a part of it. Also, they can make the argument that she was technically an employee because she was signed to him. So the government can do that in their closing too. Technically, this woman was an employee of his. So they could go that route as well, but I don't know if they're going to go that route. I think they got something else coming. But we'll see. I go back and forth with it because then I try to give good points on the defense to see how the case is going for them. But like I said, I'm not going to give I'm not going to do this anymore where I'm going to say, oh, he's getting convicted. I don't know. I'm not going to say that. I'll wait for the jury to decide on that. But I'm not making a prediction like that. But I'm just going off of what their angle is. I'm trying to figure out what the government angle is. Because we were like, yo, man, because everybody's saying in court, this is not RICO. I said, well, wait a minute. Is it or isn't it? She the one said she was paying them. Okay, she the one said she was paying them. So then they stressed the fact that she signed to Bad Boys. They stressed the fact that she signed a 10 album deal. They stressed that fact. So it's something. It's something very It's an unprecedented case. I don't see another case like this. I know they're saying that this is this is not a. It's an unusual case, but there's been other cases where it was only one defendant. I get that, but I'm talking about the details of this. It's unprecedented. This is different than R. Kelly's. It's different. The big question is, right, Ryan, will the jury understand this angle? Well, it's going to come down to the closing. Once they finish, it's going to come down to that. But watch this. The closing. The defense only had one shot at it. The government can go twice. But with the defense, they're going to have to hammer home reasonable doubt, stuff like that, and go from that angle. In this case, I don't know if it's likely that he'll testify. I don't think so. And I can understand why they don't want these YouTubers talking about it. I can understand why, because we have independent thought. We can come from a different situation, but you can't. This is very unique society we're in now, where we have independent. I don't call myself a journalist because I ain't go to school for it, but this is a different type of media. Different. Well, actually, I did go to school for it. Technically, I did, but I wasn't working as a journalist. I'm a YouTuber. There's YouTubers out here right now that's getting more views than CNN right now. That what's her name? The Asian lady. She getting more views than CNN, man. She matters. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, she matters, man. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say right there. Rotten mango, right? Rotten mango. But then also I'm sitting there taking notes as well. And then you got some people that are lying. But they can't lie because we quickly telling them they're lying. So that will quickly be corrected for you. And I'm telling you, there's certain things I've heard that no, it hasn't been. It hasn't been. And I'm telling you, like I'm coming to you right now and saying that Justin Bieber tapes allegedly, that's not a part of the evidence. I'm telling you it's not. They lied about that. Remember they said, yeah, I got this and Justin Bieber, this and that. Okay, but why come it's not a part of evidence? Because it wasn't in their opening statements that it involved minors. So that was a lie. That was a lie. Okay. They said, yeah, the celebrities and they got drugs and baby oil. They lied about it. Lied. People were just talking to be talking, but now the real deal is going on. You even have some people scrambling and scraping, trying to come down to that courtroom to say that they were there to actually hear it, because they know people like us is giving you the real deal because I'm there. Yeah, Rotten Mango I'm talking about. She get more views than CNN. That's a 100% fact. She's averaging 1 million, 2 million views a video now. She's actually averaging 2 million views a video. That's officially better than CNN. That's straight up. Hold on one second. Yeah. She's officially getting more views than CNN. That's powerful. But I realized I had to remember this. Don't matter how many views you get, it's just what you're saying. It's the information you're giving. And I'm telling you, a lot of the stuff they said they had on him, they don't have it. because it would have been added into the case. I don't know if he, yeah, that's what I'm saying. He may not have had somebody give him a reality check. You said you've heard that 50 Cent and Will Smith testified in court. Right. They didn't. Yeah, she's getting more views than the CNN YouTube page, bro. She is. And there's been so many things I've heard and I just don't see it. You know, but that's what I'm saying. It's just, and people want to, you can't even sensationalize this case. You know why? Because the YouTubers are out there. So you can't even sensationalize because we're only going to tell them that they're lying. They're lying. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they didn't have none of those videos. So I don't know what Courtney B and them had. I don't know what he thought he had because they didn't use it. If he did have something, they didn't use it. Okay? I'm just telling you this. Whatever he claimed to have had, they didn't use it. So yeah, man, they didn't use it. So, and I you know, they were saying he got all these tapes out of his house, and they found all this stuff in the baby oil. They did not. No, they did not. That's what his lawyer came out and said. This is all a complete lie. And you said the only thing you watch on TV is the play. I'm like that too. I haven't watched the playoffs yet, but I do that too. Watch the playoffs. Okay, that's another thing. They didn't mention fingerprints on the gun because he didn't have no fingerprints on the gun. So he got action in that too. He got action to beat that. Because he can argue like, damn, it wasn't no fingerprints on it. He could say that he had multiple people coming in and out of his house, and one of them placed it there. He could say that. But yeah, they did not mention that, and they also said it was but we'll see as the case go on to see where the government is going with it. But I'm telling you, I think they're going somewhere with this. And yeah, it's going somewhere. But yeah, as far as next week is concerned, we know that well, this week we know that Capricorn is supposed to be testifying Tuesday, and I'm not sure who else is supposed to be testifying. We'll just wait and see. But I know I'm going straight into court and just sit there because I know it's going to be packed because everybody's anticipating her coming. Well, for Tuesday to testify, everybody's anticipating her testifying Tuesday. So we definitely gonna see what she got to say. But yeah, you're right. They didn't mention the fingerprints on the gun. So, but I'm gonna tell you something. If they don't tie this together, like it's supposed to be tied together, he may be in the home stretch. He may be in the home stretch to come home if they don't tie this together. Oh yeah, you're right. They might offer fingerprint testimony later on. Yeah, found in the room. It's implied that it's his, right? You know, with his kind of money, he don't have to have he could have regular, firearms in his name. He could have them in his name easily. But when you have the serial numbers off, that's what you call throwaways. And he doesn't need to be in that position to have a throwaway unless he was into something else. I'm hoping that when the case go on further, that it'll make sense on both sides, one or the other. It'll make sense on one side or the other on what's happening. But after week 2, it's hard to gauge it. But what this lawyer was saying, I kind of agree with him a little bit. He was like, I like what he was saying so far. Let me see what else is he saying.
Is break that down. She's the co-conspirator. How? Because
she's the co-conspirator because in order for you to have the racketeering portion of it, you have to make an agreement that we're going to commit a crime. And racketeering and conspiracy is different than just conspiracy, because conspiracy usually involves just that one act. Like, we're going to rob this bank. But racketeering and conspiracy means multiple instances of breaking the law for a particular end. Oh, shit. The transportation of the prostitutes were part of that. And since I've been on this show, I've always told you that the main thing that gets you caught up is the transfer of money through wire, Cash App, and some of the other acts, or some of the other means. That all the elements are met. She's the co-conspirator. The crime is prostitution. You can even throw in money laundering if they paid cash, because now you paid someone to commit an illegal act in a means in which it's unrecorded.
And they just up there telling it too. They up there willingly telling it. That's the crazy part.
Because everyone is so confused and so focused in on the sex acts that are happening. Like, we're talking about the pee. And who did Puffy ask him to pee, or did she?
Right, pee? Right.
We're talking more like my man Iverson said. You're talking about pee? You're talking about pee? We're on trial for racketeering, and you're talking sex trafficking, and you're talking about pee? Because that whole incident, that whole situation is meant to really potentially take the defense off their game. And so they're focusing in on, they keep saying it, yeah, he's a bad guy. And they're more focused on saying, okay, he's a bad guy, he beats women. That's a state crime. We're not in state court. And so that's not the issue. And so she is the co-conspirator. She tells how she went and got the item. She tells about how they recruited them, how they got people in, the acts that took place. So she's laying down she's literally up there ratting on the conspiracy. So she's not the victim. So this is some usual suspect type stuff. And I hope I'm right.
Yeah.
I hope I'm right in this, let me say this. I hope I'm right, because I think I understand where the feds are going with this.
Right.
I don't want to see anybody go to jail. Right. But at the same time, I don't want to see anyone get beaten, and I don't want to see anyone trafficked.
Right.
But as a lawyer and being a student of the law, I'm just intrigued by how different lawyers treat their cases.
Yeah.
And I think that the feds are actually throwing all of this out there, and everyone is so caught up with the sex acts, right, that they're missing the fact that she's basically laying out the conspiracy of the racketeer.
Is peeing on someone assault?
Yeah, she's laying out she laying out the conspiracy and the racketeering, because this happened over many years. She's already explained how she went about recruiting the men. Okay, she'll tell them, like, hey, this is for, a bridal party. You know what I'm saying? It's a bridal party we having. And when the men get there, she quickly tell them it's not a bridal party. This is what we want to do. We're going to give you the money. And then they wind up doing it. And then afterwards, she give them the money. Yeah, she is laying out the conspiracy, because she is the co-conspirator. But they didn't say it. They didn't say that they gave her a proffer. I think the defense should have said when she got on it, did they give you a proffer agreement? They missed it. They didn't ask her that. Did the government give you a proffer agreement? See, the government didn't say nothing. because I was waiting for it. They didn't say they gave her a proffer. They didn't say that. But maybe I would assume that the defense know that, right? That she got a proffer agreement. I believe maybe she didn't. Maybe she didn't need to have one. Maybe she just agreed to testify, and they didn't have to give her a proffer, even though they probably told her, like, yeah, we're not going to come after you long as you're going to do the right thing. But I wonder if they gave her one. Because, yeah, she's a co-conspirator. If she said, I used to pay him, and, you know, I used to pay him, and I used to give him the money and at his direction. I believe that's where they're going with it. Like, she had to be the co-conspirator. And she's, like, literally laying out the conspiracy, laying it out, the racketeering. She's laying it out. And then usually she paid them with cash.
If it's unwanted, if I hit your car and you're in it, I've assaulted you. And so anything that you hit that's connected to someone's body or their body is a form of assault. So if she didn't want to be peed on, yeah. But the crazy thing about it is the escort, who seemed to be extremely credible, right? Right. He said, and when asked by the defense, you sure Puffy didn't ask? No, Mr. Combs didn't ask. She asked. And she gave me detail on how she wanted it done. And that's a killer. And so all of us at one point were like, and that's a killer. And so all of us at one point were like, she telling them how to pee on them. That ain't sexual trafficking, and that ain't that. We were right, but we were just looking at the wrong thing.
Right. She's tall, man. So let me ask you.
See that? He said, we were right. That ain't sex trafficking. But we looking at the wrong thing. That's what I was saying before, but I wasn't sure. So I need a lawyer to tell me that I was on the right track. She said they would cross state lines and she would pay them for the free calls. That's illegal. And being that she worked for Puff because she signed a 10-album deal, she's a part of the organization. She's not just a girlfriend. She's a part of the organization. That's where they're going with it. She's part of the conspiracy. I wonder if the defense know that she signed a proffer. Or maybe she didn't sign a proffer, right? I wonder when they came in for that interview, and guess what? They did say at court that 2 weeks later, after she settled the lawsuit, the defense, the prosecutors call her in, the government called her in for an interview. They didn't really go into the contents of the interview. They didn't. In the defense on their cross-examination, they can't really go into anything else because the government didn't open up Pandora's box. So they can't really ask certain questions if it hasn't already been entertained. So thank you, celebrity. You said I am pleading. I saw her listed as a CI confidential informant. So that would be a co-conspirator generally. Okay, you did see that where she was listed as a CI confidential? Yeah. She's literally laying out the case on her testimony. That's why I guess the defense want to bring her back as a witness so they can open up Pandora's box. I get it now. Now I get it. But now the judge, I believe he said no on that. So that means that Puff might have action in the appeals. He might because they feel like they rushed it and they needed more time with her. He might have action. This case is beautiful. It's not beautiful to the point that somebody might lose their liberties, but just legally speaking, I'm telling you, just the strategy they use and stuff. No wonder they want her back so they can question her, so they can bring her back as a defensive witness to question her some more. Cassie, was you offered a proffer? Yes or no? I'm pretty sure the defense know that. Pretty sure of it. But see, I know. I know. I'm like, wait a minute, man. He, like the lawyer said, we looking at the wrong thing. No, listen to what she's saying. Yeah, I put in the ads. I looked in the ads. I called the people. I use listen. She said she used a pseudonym, Veronica Bang. It's all there. It's all there. Why come she couldn't use her real name? She had to because they knew they were doing something illegal. Hello. And they ain't want nobody to know about it. They did a lot yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And she said, yeah, I used to pay him in cash. You see what I'm saying? And then she said, yeah, we used to call them to go travelers with it here, and there. See, people are saying, oh, they just having free calls. No, you're looking at it wrong. Like he said, now I'm glad he said it. It's a lawyer. He's a lawyer, by the way. That's the conspiracy, man. She's the co-conspirator, man. Yeah, she the co-conspirator, dog. Definitely is. And she did her job already. She'd been on the stand for 4 days. She did her job. She's done. Now, if you want to look at her as a victim, yes, she's a victim as well. Okay. No wonder the defense want her back. They want her back, man. I get that. Yeah, man.
Let me ask you this, right?
Told you I had a bombshell for you.
He threw the grenade, boy. And so I've been watching this case, right? And there's a when you hear some of these people side, like they'll say, well, isn't she not complicit in some of these acts if she's going back to the guy? For example, she gets beat by Diddy. She goes back and has sex with Diddy. Diddy pushes her, gashes her eye. He then pays for plastic surgery. She then goes back to Diddy. Like at some point, you know, they're going to say grooming, right? But if you're 19, you're an adult. So at what point does age and grooming not match?
So once again, we're going to talk about this, and it's being talked about, but that's not the issue at hand. Right? We're talking about how the food was. And everybody's saying good, and I use the plastic fork, when we should be talking about the texture,
right,
and the season. But you have to be very careful in that regard, especially dealing with someone who's 19 and someone who is older. And it really goes back to someone's, how should I say, maturity at that point. If you're going to argue that point, according to the law, she's an adult. She can do anything that she wants. So if we're going to say grooming, we have to go back and look at someone's mental state. Because on the flip side of that, what about the 19-year-old? I represented a young man. She was 16. And she was a prostitute maybe 2 to 3 years before she even met this guy. She played him. Like, she needed someone who was over 21 to get her the things that she needed. And he was naive.
See, and they never talk about that part of the game. That's where I was going with it. Like,
and so she had it down to a science. She would meet a guy, and she would go to 7-Eleven, and she would come out with a wine cooler and cigarettes. Got to be 18 to buy a wine cooler. Cigarettes, and have to be 21 to buy alcohol. But she had an arrangement with the guy at the 7-Eleven. So when you see her come out with that, you automatically say, oh, she look young, but she has these items. I don't really need to ask her for her ID or how old she is, because evidently she's at least 21.
So would that not be coercion the other way?
It don't matter, because it is certain crimes that you commit, there are no defenses to.
Yeah, so what he was saying was, in that situation, I'm going to give you the link in a second. What he was saying in that instance was she was coming out the store with all this stuff, so I'm assuming that she at least 21. You have to ask for ID still to make sure she's of age. Because if you having sex with her and she underage, the law ain't going to see it that way. They ain't going to see, they want to know, did you ask for ID? You should have known that. No matter she got buying cigarettes, she could have lied about it. You know what I'm saying? The law is just really in black and white. You know what I'm saying? There's certain statutory laws that is statutory, that it stays the same. It doesn't matter. Oh, well, she was like this. She lied to me about her age. They don't. The courts don't care if she lied about her age to you. You should have asked for ID. Yeah, man. And also, what he's about to say is, with Cassie going back and forth, well, the government already explained that. They already brought a doctor in to explain to you why people still go back to these relationships. So the government has already cleared that basis already. Oh, Avid, you already gave him the link? Okay. That's the link right there. So the government has already explained why people stay in abusive relationships. She's already explained it. She's already explained it. Why people, because I know somebody personally to me that was in an abusive relationship. Until I had to put the fear of God in that man and almost lost my liberties over it. Because I had to come 3 o'clock in the morning and put the fear of God in that man. And it didn't happen again. Yep. So, but they've already covered that basis by bringing the doctor in. Because see, the doctor, what did she say? I'm here to provide my knowledge to give the jury an understanding on why, in an educational way, why people stay in relationships like that. Not that she interviewed Cassie or any of the parties involved. She's given a general education on why people stay in those relationships. So we don't knock Cassie for staying in a relationship. There's a reason for it. There's a reason for it. But we need to get to the bottom of this now. Where's the crime? They're actually going about it in a roundabout way. But people are stuck on her getting beat and stuff like that. Wait a minute. Well, what did she do that was illegal? She did, yeah. She's paying the dude for the purpose of prostitution, going across. That's illegal. She did that with his guidance. So therefore, he's the leader of the organization. And technically, she was an employee of his because she signed a 10-album deal. Hello, y'all get it now? They rocking us to sleep, but they're not though. They trying to rock the defense to sleep. I'm paying attention. I'm like, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. But here's the thing. I want to say this to you. I have to give a disclaimer. I have to give you a disclaimer. These are just my opinions. These are not the opinions of the government prosecutors or the defense. These are just my opinions. The people shouldn't be swayed by this. This is just for purposes of conversation. My opinion doesn't matter. The only opinions that's going to matter ultimately is the jury. So I have to give you that disclaimer. So they won't sit up here and think I'm trying to sway somebody. The jury ain't supposed to be listening anyway. Okay? They're not supposed to be listening anyway. They should have been sequestered if you ask me. But that's just a side note. But it's a sneaky way they doing it, because I'm like, wait a minute. Because see, people like, oh my God, look what he's doing. They said, nah, Max, this is different. This is domestic violence. It's domestic violence. Yeah, I know. But what did she do that was illegal though? Did she pay these people for the purposes of sex? Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay. She said, remember, the guys came up there for the purpose of dancing. They thought they were supposed to be dancing for a group of women, but she lied to them. That's not what I want you here for. My husband, she said her husband. So she lied about that. She said her husband, we want you to do this and that, create some sexy scenes for my birthday. And she was the one that paid him. And she's his employee. Y'all get it? She's the employee. Now, with all that being said, right, let's just go back to the DVs for a second. Domestic violence. She is a victim here. And again, they've already covered why she stayed. Now, some people are saying, you know what No Joke said? Yes, I have to name a name. He said, you think she would have stayed if I'm paraphrasing, if somebody wouldn't have had that much money? And he said she left Ryan Leslie. No, I know people that was in domestic violence situations where people didn't have Puff's money. So that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Okay? That's bullshit. I know people that was in domestic situations and the person was poor. Right? So that nicks that right there. That's bullshit. This was a situation where she got caught up. And the doctor explained it. Okay. And then also drugs were involved. She was getting it basically unlimited supply of drugs. If she had left, that cuts it off. You can't quit cold turkey like that. Okay. You need your fix. You can't quit cold turkey. You have to go get help. And he even admitted it. We partied so much, we lucky to be alive. That came out in court that he said that. Now, watch this, guys. Watch this. Watch this. This is how slick the prosecutors are. Watch this. Oh, shit. This is slick. Cassie was a part of the car bombing. You know why? Because she gave Puff the address. Oh, shit. She gave Puff the address. Oh, my God. These people are slick. She gave Puff the address. She was a part of it. Y'all get it? She was a part of it. She gave him the address because she, and I understand why she gave him the address because she was scared, but she still gave him the address. He wouldn't have had Kid Cudi address. She hadn't gave it to him. She was a part of that. Oh my God, yo. I'm not saying it was her fault. Don't get me wrong, but we're trying to explain the racketeering and conspiracy. We're trying to figure out why they charged Puff with this. It's technically not a car bombing. It was a fire. Yeah, it was a fire. Okay, let's just call it for what it is. They set his seats on fire because his seats and his door got messed up. Let's and his convertible got ripped. This was a convertible. But my question to you is, watch this. Who did it? Is that person getting ready to testify? Yes or no? If that person testify and say they did it, guys, I'm going to hit the floor. Because the prosecutors now, they're ODing off of us now. They're ODing. They're now, I'm going to say, they're ODing now. They're literally doing it. Do they have the person to admit on the stand that they the ones that did it? Oh, man. He's locked up somewhere, Denise. I believe it's in Miami. He locked up somewhere. He might testify. He was one of the workers, wasn't he? Didn't Cassie name him on the stand? She named him. Yes, that's Jonathan. And showed his picture. So he might be next. He might be coming. All you got to do is transport him down. But what is he going to admit to, though? I don't know. This case is warming up, man. What happens if somebody get on the stand and say they were the ones that did that to that man's car? You say, yeah, his case is on hold. And Keefe's on hold too. Guys, this is crazy. And if you notice, a lot of celebrities are being quiet. They're being very, 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 very quiet. They're being very quiet. And they're all watching. Don't think they don't be watching these vlogs. Okay? Don't think they do be watching content creators. Because you know this whole papoose and stuff going on? Well, there was a girl, she from New York. I forget her name. She from New York. She vlogs on Instagram, mostly. She called her Clarence. the woman he with now, Clarice Shields, she called her Clarence, right, in a video. And how about Clarice hit her up and said, "Call me Clarence to my face." So they do listen. They regular people. They be listening. If my name in the title, if I'm super famous, you got my name in the title. Best believe I'm listening. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. She's from the Bronx. Well, she was joking and called her Clarence Shields. And she hit her up in her inbox. She said, "Call me Clarence to my face." She did. She did say that to her. And she was like, "Oh, shoot. Yeah, she listening to you." They listen. They regular people, man. Like, what do you think Jay-Z doing in his house, just sitting there looking at his art all day? No, he's on YouTube too. And he got a burner account. They all be listening. See, we thinking that they're so above us that they're just above it. They're just looking in the clouds, smoking a cigar, just looking at their art. Bullshit. They're on YouTube wanting the tea. They want the tea. I know Beyonce for sure. She on there. They want the tea. And I'm trying to give you the Lipton's tea. I told you I'm trying to give you the Earl Grey tea. I'm trying to give you all the goddamn tea. Okay? I'm trying to give it to you. And I'm trying to give you a little bit of coffee too. Okay? A little bit of Dunkin' Donuts coffee. A little bit of Starbucks coffee. A little bit of Wawa coffee. A little bit of Sheetz coffee. A little bit of McDonald's coffee. Burger King, nah, not really. I ain't rocking with them. You see what I'm saying? I'm trying to give you all the coffee. Okay? Because the feds are they rocked everybody to sleep. I'm just telling you they did. Because he was like, "Man, this domestic violence, man." Yeah, but did she pay the prostitutes or not? Yes or no? Well, yeah, but that's not illegal. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. If they cross state lines. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And she admitted to it. You know what I feel like? Defense, like something is meant. They felt like she got off too light. They want her back, but the judge said, "Nah, yo." I think she said she done, and she about to drop. She was on the stand 4 days, but I thought they have a right to call her back if they wanted to. But I don't think so. I think they said she done. When she look, you know how I felt when she got off the stand. I'm like, damn. If I was I feel like we've been had. Like, wait a minute. She just slipping away, and we're trying to grab her, and she's gone. That's it. It's over with. You say he has his team looking at social media. But I'm telling you, man, it's this is a case. This is a case of this. I'm looking at the strategy. I'm trying to figure it out because people are saying, "Where is the crime at? Where is it? Where's the racketeering?" Well, haven't you thought that she might have been a part of it? Didn't she the one called the workers? She the one called the men up to set it up, and she paid with cash. You said, "Well, Max, the Fed's motto is the first to squeal gets the deal." I heard that. First to bite the cheese. First to squeal, get the deal. She was the first to squeal because they interviewed her 2 weeks later. After that was over with. And I'm not in any way bashing her. She did what she had to do. She was on the stand. She was very forthcoming. She said everything. She didn't even duck or dodge a question. Not once. Not once. There's only a few things she couldn't recall, but everything else she never ducked and dodged, really. Never. She was forthcoming about everything. Even when the defense said to her, "Well, when you didn't answer that FaceTime, you were with Puff, right? Mr. Cohn?" "Yeah, I was." She didn't dodge it. She answered everything to her best of her ability. But my question is, did she do something wrong? Did she do something illegal? I think so. She set up the free calls. Puff didn't set him up. She set him up. But with his guidance. Was she an employee of his or not? She signed a 10-album deal. She was an employee of Bad Boy, man. Has he ever thought about it? Like, yeah, I'm thinking about it like that. Because I know people say, nah, man, that's not it. That's not the conspiracy. Well, prostitution in certain states is illegal. If you have them crossing state lines for the purpose of prostitution, that's the Mann Act. You said Cassie took advantage of an old man. He wasn't old. He's not old. He's not being charged with human trafficking. He's being charged with sex trafficking. It's a difference. You said you can't be involved in facilitating the act. You said Puff kept, wait a minute. You said Cassie kept Puff high and used him. No, he got high on his own. He got high on his own. You said it is conspiracy because she worked for him and set up the free. Yeah, but see, people getting rocked to sleep. People getting rocked to sleep over it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. They getting rocked to sleep over it. Yeah, she getting rocked to sleep. We getting rocked to sleep over it. Was she an employee? Yes or no? So, like Abbott Chatter said, it is a conspiracy because she worked for him and set up the freak offs. This is not like what we think racketeering and conspiracy is. We're not thinking about it that way. We're thinking about John Gotti and gangs. That's what we're thinking about. But the illegal activity is hiring them, paying them cash, and going across state lines. Yeah, she set them up and had relations. So far, he didn't sleep with those men. She did. Right. But maybe we haven't heard all the witnesses yet. Maybe he did. We have to wait and see. So Jonathan Oddie is telling a different story. He said he woke up and his backside was hurting. And he was drugged. That's what he's saying. Not saying it happened, but that's what he's saying. And he ain't nowhere to be found. I mean, I know he's locked up, but you haven't heard from him. All right, well, this mic giving out too, man. Let me see. Yeah, all of them gave out. Sorry, my bad. The sound is different now. They all lost charge now, but that's it, man. I believe they got it. But because I'm listening to her, and see, here's the thing. Here's the crazy part. What was throwing people off? Everybody is not at the trial to hear this. You're going off of what people are saying. That's why you're not catching it. But I'm telling you, she sat on that stand. Well, you got to go read the transcript. If anybody can get the transcript, or if you got somebody online, there's a few people online reading the transcript. You have to go read. You have to go look at it, listen to it. Go listen to the transcript. And the money is in the details, and you're gonna find out, oh, I see what Mac's talking about now. You got to go listen to the transcript. Yeah, she was like, she set it up because the men thought they were coming to a bridal shower. A bachelorette party. They thought they were coming to a bachelorette party. More than one dancer has said that now. The Punisher even said it. And the first guy that came up there even said it. I thought I was coming to a bachelorette party, but then she came to the door and told me something different. Okay, and they paid, and she paid in cash. Okay, what do the free calls consisted of? Her getting freaked off. Okay, that's what That's what a freak off is. Okay, a freak off is not just them rubbing baby oil on each other. Okay, a freak off consisted of sex. Okay, did she pay them for the purposes of that? Yes, because remember, she also told a story where one of the men couldn't finish, and one of the men said the same thing. He couldn't finish, and they asked him, "Do you want to finish?" He said no. This is what the Punisher said. He said, "No, I don't want to finish. As long as you got satisfied, I'm good." They said, "Okay, thank you." And then she thanked him for his professionalism and everything. I'm telling you, man, that's where it's at. People are not going to buy it. You know why? Because they weren't there to hear it. So they still going to think Puff got buffaloed around and railroaded. But you have to be there to hear it. Now, good thing is there's some people online that's reading the transcripts. So you got to go listen to it. And another crazy thing is, even when you're listening to some people tweet it out, you're still not getting it. You got to be there to hear it. Yeah, you got to be there to hear what she was saying. But yes, she's also a victim as well. I know why people saying this sound like DV. No, that's not DV. Paying people for sex and going across state lines, that's not DV. Uh-uh. No. They did that for the purpose of sex. The people say, no, they paid them for the time. Bullshit. A freak off don't consist of paying somebody for their time. They paying somebody for their ding-a-ling. That's what happened. So it is what it is, man. We'll see. But the defense, I want to say this also for the defense. The defense is doing a hell of a job because they're dealing with the hand that they're dealt. Okay? And they're making it rock from there. So yeah, I'm commenting on what I'm hearing in court and I'm trying to figure out what the crime is. That's what I'm trying to figure out. And I'm trying to figure out where the government is going with this. And like I said, I was listening to a lawyer just now, and I believe I'm in agreement with him.
They are what they are. They're statutory. So it's really hard to say that because we're all getting just bits and pieces of the transcript. And I really, if I was her and I kind of wanted to lay the foundation and really nail it down, I would have went into details of the transfer of the money. How did he pay him? Which accounts did he potentially pay him for? Did he ever make you pay it? Right. And which accounts did you pay from?
Okay, they did get into that. He would get Western Union's wired from Bad Boy Entertainment. He would get 10,000 here. He would get 20,000 here. They did go into that already. See, he is right. You guys are getting bits and pieces of the transcript. They already discussed how he would get his money. He would get it Western Union or wired from Bad Boy Enterprises, Sean Combs Enterprise, or whatever the enterprise is. That's how he would get the money. So that's why they're saying it's kind of like money laundering, because he's using that money for something else. And it's not being tracked because he's paying them in cash. So they did go over that already. But when I see, you guys are getting it in bits and pieces. You're not actually there to hear it in full. So yes, they did cover that already. And they also covered why she would have stayed, because they had a doctor come to explain that. They explained all of it. But when you have his people out there, because they got, sir, I bet you they got certain vloggers that say certain things to you. But I'm sitting there saying it's illegal to hire somebody for the purpose of prostitution. It's illegal. It's illegal. But people are saying, well, no, that's still a state case. No, it's not. If they cross state lines, it's federal. I know this. That's why I said, what is people talking about? Unless they're getting paid to try to throw you off. They're not throwing me off because I'm there every day. And I know the law. I know that I can't bring somebody from cross state lines for the purposes of sex. That's illegal. It's the Mann Act. I know this already. You said I know the laws of human. They didn't see. Well, watch this. They didn't charge him with human trafficking. They charged him with sex trafficking, not human trafficking. Okay, Puff did not get charged with human trafficking. Go look. We'll see what he's charged with. He didn't get charged with human trafficking. He got charged with sex trafficking. It's different. There's a difference. Yeah, no, he didn't get charged with human trafficking. Yeah, there's definitely a difference, but human and sex trafficking is different.
And when you went shopping for items, where did you get those items from? Right. Did he ever give you cash to pay them? And so I would have really focused in on the transactional portion, of it. And this is the thing, they could bring her back.
Right.
Because they may not want to have her talk about what they're going to have the two big alleged victims talk about as far as how they were sex trafficked. Right. If the prosecution is not using the first male escort as one of the individuals who were sex trafficked, but I have a sneaking suspicion that it's going to be someone that is going to be more of a victim.
Right.
Yeah, I believe so too. I believe whoever they got coming, that person was more of a victim. And they did say on one occasion they did use a female. Oh, yes. They did. She did say on one occasion we use a female. On one occasion. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. She did say that. And it don't have to be a female. It could have been a male victim as well. But see, we don't often look at male victims as victims of sex trafficking. We don't look at them like that, but it could be the case. You said, and it's believed that Diddy team is paying him to sway YouTubers. Yeah, but I'm not being swayed. And I'm not approachable either. You see me out there. I show you walking. I'm walking for a reason. I'm not being swayed. And I'm walking there by myself. I'm walking there. But if you see the way I'm walking, guys, you have to be out there to see it. It feels like it's a police convention out there. It's so many out there. They're everywhere. They're in plain clothes. They're everywhere. Everywhere. They've already been prepared for this. They was already prepared. There's people out there that can't do nothing if they wanted to. If they do, this is what you call kamikaze. That's a kamikaze mission now. If that's what they're trying to do, because you're gonna get caught. There's people out there that's purposely they were trying to distract. There was people out there that was trying to distract. Okay, I saw your definition. I know I read the definition. That person hasn't testified yet. I believe there's somebody coming that was really textbook sex traffic. That person is coming, I think. Oh, the Knicks won? I believe the Knicks is getting ready to win the whole thing. I believe this is the year that the Knicks is going to win the title. And it's crazy because Brunson, his dad played for the Knicks, Rick Brunson. His dad was a point guard for the Knicks back in the day. And now it's his son that's getting ready to take the Knicks to the promised land. He's the elder statesman now, Rick Brunson. Brunson, his son. Isn't that crazy? It's 2-1. Yeah, I believe they're getting ready to go all the way with it. It's just their year. You said, and Diddy get free? But yeah, so some people are reporting this, but I believe they're trying to throw you off. See, and it's sad because you're not there listening to it with me. The only thing that I do suggest, if you can find somebody online that's reading the transcript, then you'll see it. Then you're not gonna be swayed no other way. And I believe they're trying to sway people so that hopefully the jury will be swayed. They're hoping that the jury will listen to it and be swayed too. No, because the prosecution's gonna lay it out in their closing defense. If that's really what's happening, if this lawyer is correct. But like I said, the defense, they want to call, they did want to call Cassie back. See, y'all didn't know this. They did. They had a hearing over it. You're not privy to that hearing because the jury wasn't. It's off the record. And a lot of people were leaving to go out and report their videos. Okay, I stayed and listened. They wanted Cassie back. And I believe the judge said no. And then it was I don't know when she's going to the hospital, not sure. But then I was like, man, they can have her back on Skype. They can use Skype to have her back if they need her back. You said he harbored, transport, and patronized according to Cassie and the Punisher. Yeah, it's crazy, man. She's already testified to the crime. She already did it. And she sat right up there and did it. And I said it ain't her fault that, she had to do what she had to do. So this is not on her. So I'm not trying to say that. This is what I'm not trying to say, right? Hear me out. I'm not trying to say she should be sitting up there with him. It's obvious that she sat there and testified, so she did her job. Okay? And on top of it, she's a victim as well. On top of it. Okay, let me say alleged victim. But it looks like she is because we saw the well, we might as well say victim. We saw the hotel video, right? But like I said, man, we'll see. But I know some people are thinking that, YouTubers are being paid one way or the other. I know they thinking that. To each his own. I don't want to get into too much of that because I don't know. I'm not privy to people getting paid. But if they are, they are, man. But when you getting paid, how much you think they getting paid to sit up there and lie to you? Like, what does that, how much does that cost? I don't know. I don't know what that costs. I don't know how much that costs. You said not me. I believe they're gonna use the same play that Reggie won in the 90s. If they do that, man, oh man. She's not guilty. She testified. Yeah, she's a part of the conspiracy, I think.
They showed a lot of photos of like the sex photos, pretty much, of going on. Do you think those things will get leaked at all?
At some point, man, somebody is. You got to think about it. You know, it depends on who Puffy had around him. It depends on who had access to these tapes and videos prior to him getting arrested and prior to the feds coming in and seizing it. And anyone could have. What always ends up happening is someone in your own entourage grabs something either for their own personal use or to use later on, and they hold on to it. But I will tell you, if you do leak that, chances are you're going to be charged with a federal crime.
You know, with this case, right? There's just been a lot of it's been a lot of things, right? How would you score the defense versus the prosecution with Cassie, right?
I really liked the defense up until I unlocked the code.
Oh. So you when did you realize what play was being said?
Earlier today, when I was listening to
Don Richards.
Yeah, and I was listening to her former friend and the guy, his former assistant, and I was listening to him, and then I was going back and forth and looking at the law and looking at the statutes, and it just wasn't really making a whole lot of sense.
Right.
Because you have these people focusing in on him beating her, and I don't know why they put this last friend on, because she really didn't go into anything other than the video that happened at the Intercontinental and the acts that Puffy did after the fact. Now, also, part of that whole conspiracy and racketeering,
Yeah.
what is it illegal to have? Cocaine, opioids.
Right.
And so all of that, and what did Cassie said she did? She said she did drugs.
Right.
So now we got a conspiracy to provide drugs at a party because you're supplying it. That in itself is an illegal act. And so all of these things, when you start looking at racketeering combined with conspiracy, you're looking at a number of illegal acts that took place. And these behaviors or people acting in concert to facilitate this illegal act, this criminal enterprise, as they say. And so if I'm bringing in drugs, illegal drugs constantly to a party, to a group of people on a regular basis, you and I are in agreement that we're going to supply these things. There you go.
Okay, here's the other one. You remember when the guy they called the mule? Remember he got off? Remember it was said at first that he was getting the stuff from Europe. Remember that? That story came out that he was getting it from overseas. He was taking a plane over there going to get it. There's another conspiracy. There's another one. I don't know if he's going to testify. If he testify, now they're now in the pole position. If you watch race car driving, they're now in the pole position. And then they start in a race because it's a slow race, but now they're in caution. They're getting ready to win this race in caution. They're in caution, but they're getting ready to win the race because they're up. They're up by laps, and they're going to win it in caution. You said you're getting paid 10 10K per line to say this stuff on your screen? All right, not no more. Not no more. You know you ain't getting your money, because I just blocked you. And I'll unblock you soon, but I had to erase all what you said. So now you ain't getting your money. Now you're not getting your money because see, I'm not a come up. So I know you were joking, but if you just in case you're not joking, I'm not an elevator. You're not coming up off me. And if you are getting 10,000 a line, I just blocked it. So now you ain't getting it because you guess what? In the transcripts, you will never hear what you said. We'll never hear what you we'll never read what you type. If that's the case. But no, I believe you were joking. You're not getting 10,000 because that's too much. 10,000 a line? That's too much. That's too much, DJM. I'll unblock you in a second. That's too much. You're definitely not getting 10,000 a line. I know what you were saying. I'll unblock you in a second. I was just doing that to be funny because you said you got 10,000 a line. I said, let me block you. But just in case, though, offset, if you get 10,000 line, that you're not going to be able to prove it because everything has been deleted. That's why I was joking with you. But it could be people like purposely trying to throw you off, but I don't know.
So, is Cassie innocent in any of this? Can she have charges?
Look, man, I reserve opinion on anyone because I don't know.
Right.
I don't know that woman. Right.
But I mean, if you're looking at it, you know, she's in cahoots with. You see what I'm saying? Like,
I do. I would want to see a psych evaluation or hear from an expert to talk about her behaviors and the things that took place and the things that happened to her, right, and explain how they feel that all affected her mental state, right, at the time. Because on one end, just like everyone else.
Okay. Well, they already had the doctor come on, talk about like domestic violent people mental state. They've already had somebody come on, so they already covered that basis already. So this was recorded before that person. This interview was recorded before the doctor's testimony then, because he didn't hear it. Hold on, let me just make sure. Hold on, let me see if this is a federal crime. Hold on. Let's just ask. Let me see. Let's find out. Okay, let's see. I said, if I pay someone to cross state lines to have sex with them, is that a federal crime? Yes, paying someone to cross state lines to have sex with them can be a federal crime under certain circumstances. The key federal law in this question is the Mann Act, which makes it illegal to transport of any person across state lines with the intent of engaging in prostitution or any sexual activity for which a person can be charged with a criminal offense. Here's the breakdown. If the sex act involved payment, i.e. prostitution, and you pay for or arrange for someone to travel across state lines for the purpose, it can fall under the Mann Act. The crime doesn't require that force or coercion be involved. Even consensual arrangements even consensual arrangements can violate the law if money is exchanged for sex. If you paid for the travel knowing the purposes was a sexual transaction, that could trigger federal charges. Legal exceptions. If the sexual activity is entirely legal in both states, involves consenting adults, and no form of prostitution or criminal sexual activity is involved, then it's generally not a federal crime. But because these laws can be complex and vary by circumstance, consulting a criminal, okay. Do you hear that? It can even be consensual. But let's say if like you fly him out to Miami and you know you're gonna have a freak off, you know you're gonna pay him, that's illegal. The freak off is resulting in sexual activity. Hold on one second. All right, I'm back. Yeah, so if I'm reading this correctly, it sounds like what she's saying was illegal. If I'm reading this correctly, they said it can even be consensual. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Now you might think about this. Now, why did they charge him with the Mann Act? Why are they going after him after this? Is it racially motivated? Because I could see if they didn't charge him with this conspiracy stuff, then yeah, I mean, it's more like state charges. Being that they charge him with this situation right here, I'm thinking it's just, I don't see how they're getting around this because she already said, or they might say, are you taking her word for it? It could be like that. Defense could work it that way. Don't just take her word for it. You got to prove it. But then if you hear what some of the workers have said already, describing their stories, it sounds like it's illegal.
They say she makes a statement. I did it because I didn't want him to be unhappy. I did it to make him happy. I did it because I didn't want him to find someone else to do it with.
Science, wow.
And so when you say those type of things, those aren't really things that are 100% gun to your head, take your clothes off, sleep with this dude.
Right.
Those are things, it can be considered several ways, but at the same time, she could have been in a mental state in which she was just so broken down and beaten down that he had handcuffs on her mentally and not physically, to the point where he picks up the phone and says, hey girl, get over here right now and take your clothes on. And she is perfectly safe. She's in a police station, but yet she leaves the police station to come to him. And so that's not normal. And so there's so many different caveats in this. And until we hear from experts that can really break down the behavior, it's just our own personal opinion. But I will say this, that there are people who do things in this country that we don't know about. And one of the things that kind of caught my ear too was they stated that they went to swinger clubs.
Yeah.
So now that takes it into a whole new arena.
Why is it?
Because now you're talking about potentially someone's lifestyle. This is not, and this is public. This This is a public lifestyle and not just locked up in some penthouse with security guards outside the door. This is you and I putting on.
Yeah, the government is playing chess. Because if you really pay attention to her testimony, you would see that she set it all up. And they used cash to do it. And they talked about how he got the cash. They've already covered that already. They said he used to get it wired from his enterprises. 10,000 here, 10,000 there. And then they also had a worker testify that he used to go pick up money that was wired. They talked about it Friday. Did you ever pick up money from Mr. Combs? Yes. How much? And where did you get it? Sometime from Western Union. And then he said certain items, he didn't use his company credit card because Mr. Combs didn't want that counted. They're already talking about the crime, dog. It's just that you got some people there that's trying to throw you for a loop. And they probably getting paid to do that. They've already explained where they got the money from. He was like, yeah, is it sometime you have had to pick up money from it? Yeah. He said, I would have to, sometime I'll get it. I'll go, sometime it'd be Western Union. And it coming from his enterprises. Cash. Yep. They're going to put it all in the closing. I can go back to my notes. Hold on. Okay, his name was George Kaplan, former assistant. Because I noticed when certain news sources, they have their people inside, they don't give you everything. They only give you a summation of what they heard. They don't tell you everything they wrote down in their notes. I noticed that. Let's see. He said he left Combs Enterprises in December 2015. He gave notice that September, so he stayed a while. He said also, after hearing Cassie get beat up, he spoke to KK the next day, Christina Coram. So all this was, Christina Coram was in on, like she knew about everything. Yep. Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, man, it's he said he used to go pick up wired money sometime. Now, granted, he could have used the cash for other things as well. But the dancers testified they used to get between $700 to $6,000 at a time, depending on how long the freak off lasted. So yeah, they are playing chess. Because I'm like, because people are caught up on the domestic violence situation. Nah, man, this is a state case. That's what people are saying. And I'm just looking at them like, I want to be like, let me ask you a question. Did these men cross state lines for the purpose of free calls? Yes or no? Okay, what does the free calls consist of? It consists of her being sex, right? That's what they're getting paid for, right? That's illegal. But I know they're gonna try to spend. Oh, he getting. I don't know. Yeah, and she was an employee. On top of it, no, it was his girlfriend. But yeah, but she signed a 10-album deal though. Now I might say to myself, why is this happening to him now though? Did this all happen because of the lawsuit? I don't know. And I'm not doing this to try to talk down on him. I'm just going off of what I hear. So when you pay somebody to travel out to Miami or Vegas or wherever you all at, to set it up to have free calls, that's prostitution. Because I know what they're saying, they paying for the people for their time and experience. But paying for me for my time is you paying me and I'm sitting there keeping you company and having conversation which it don't involve sex. That's my time. But these sex sites, they word it that way so it could be legal. You're paying me for my time. You're paying me 500 roses. No, excuse me. You're paying me 5 roses for consulting time. No, that's a prostitute. The 5 roses or 3 roses, $300. Yep. It's crazy how they got them though. I believe if he treated people better, he wouldn't be in this situation. Because some people ain't gonna want to mess their money up. You said the argument can be, yes, they paid for their time and the sex was consensual, right? That's a good way to look at it. But all the free calls consisted of sex. So it's implied like, yeah, I'm gonna pay you for this, bro. And then remember, oh, here's the other detail. Some of the guys didn't get paid. Okay. Remember one guy, he got paid very little because he couldn't perform. Uh-oh. Hold up. Let me tell y'all what happened. He testified, the Punisher, and the first guy testified that he couldn't perform because Diddy was watching him, so he couldn't get it up. And he got paid less. And they got paid more depending on how long they lasted. Sometimes the free offs went for 4 days, they got about $6,000. But one guy, they didn't use him no more, and one of the guys I believe didn't get paid because he couldn't perform. So there y'all go. See, y'all not getting that detail that they got paid less. He said he got paid between $700 to $6,000. And the more you get paid, depending on how you perform. Okay? So, it involves sex. It involves sex. Because he got a tip. The Punisher said the first time he got a tip of $1,200. The very first time. But then the time where he couldn't perform, he just got a little bit of money and he left because he couldn't perform. Oh, a freak off, Ryan, could last 4 days. They give you drugs to keep you up and stuff like that. But I also believe that there's somebody else testifying that's going to make this even more damaging. So we'll see. We'll see Tuesday. Yeah, because that means the more you perform, the more money you got, or however long it lasted. So it was implied that sex is going to be the key, because he said he couldn't get it up. And why did they tell that story? They told that story for a reason. See, he couldn't perform, so yeah. Crazy, right? I missed somebody's super chat, but thank you for the blessing. I missed it. I seen it now. Thank you for the blessing. Whoever's, thank you for the blessing for that. I'm just seeing it now. I'm running my mouth and missed it. Okay, but you guys see, that testimony is not for no reason. Because I'm like, why is he talking about days I couldn't perform? But it's because it's performance based upon sex. Boy, they killing it. And it's making sense to me now that I'm thinking about it. It's performance based. And I believe one guy said he didn't get paid at all because he couldn't perform. And then they said sometime they would get pep talks because he couldn't perform, and he would give him a pep talk to try to, get him to perform. Crazy, man. Yeah, man, that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing in court. Yeah, he had to give him a pep talk. You said one of them said he didn't get paid because he couldn't perform. Right. He couldn't get it up, Medea. And the reason why is because he was watching him. You said, what did he say to them? He didn't say. He just said, trying to give him a pep talk. To help him try to, like, come on, you could do it. I'm not sure when she's going to testify. They didn't say. But these little details I'm telling you right now, I didn't tell you this before. Like, I may have, but I didn't. There's so much, you know? And, but yeah, he did try to give him a pep talk because he couldn't perform. You know, like that a boy pep talk. Like, you could do it. You know what I'm saying? You can get it done. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could do it. You know, I thought that was, people were laughing at, like, damn, a pep talk. But he really wanted this freak off. Hold on, guys. Be right back. Sorry, guys. I had to check on my mother. Thank you for the blessing. I appreciate you. Thank you for the blessing. But yeah, there's some details like I'm just remembering. But all you have to do is go on YouTube and search it. There's somebody that's reading the transcript. And guess what? You know, them transcripts are expensive. I don't know if it's $500 a day. I can't remember, but the transcripts are very expensive. Yeah, I'm coming back. Yeah. But I'm back. No, I had You say, yeah, it's 500. Yeah, I heard that. It's very, very expensive. They're releasing transcripts. Yeah, they're releasing that quickly, and it's 500 a day. But the thing is, you got to read the transcripts to understand what I'm saying to you. Cassie was describing the conspiracy. She was describing it. And like I said, to be honest with you, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I can't freely talk like this when I'm there. Because I'm going to tell you something. He has a lot of support in there. A lot. And they're spread out. And look, when I was in there talking, right, because I can't lower my voice. Because when I talk, my voice still carries. And people just like listening and taking notes. And when I saw them taking notes, I'm like, man, let me shut up, man. Let me shut up, man. So, like I said, I'm not happy about him in this situation. I'm not. I don't want to see nobody go away and lose their liberties for all this time. I don't want to see that. I'm just talking about how the case is going. You know what I'm saying? My intent is not to make him go to jail. That's up to the government to see, because they have the proof beyond reasonable. I mean, they have the burden of proof, not me. So I'm just telling you bits and pieces of what I heard. She said she used to set it up. You said there are some content creators that are specifically saying that the daily transcripts is 500 and they have subs to donate daily just for that. I like to hear from you because that's the first hand. Yeah, I try to tell you as much as I can remember. But yes, them transcripts are very expensive. They are. And some content creators were trying to go in with each other so we can all get copies, but that's daily though. That's a lot per day, man. Inner City Press, he has the transcripts on his thing. I think his Patreon. Don't quote me though, but I believe he gets them. But you're gonna have to read them transcripts to be like, okay. But I'm trying to tell you everything that's happening to the best of my ability. If you guys got questions, let me know. If you guys have questions, because then I can remember. Yeah, Chantel, they're releasing them that quickly. You said this trial will be 2 months long. You think so? They did say 6 to 8 weeks. But yeah, like I said, if you guys have any kind of questions or something like that, because I had just remembered that they did go over how he used to get money. Sometimes he used to get it wired from Coleman Enterprises, cash. And you do have some people reading the transcripts. They trying so. And some people really want those transcripts. They really, really, really want to read them. Because even the lawyer, he's giving his opinion based off scattered information. But he is kind of like figuring it out even with the scattered information. But I have to say this again, even though I'm saying she was a part of it, but at the end of the day, she's a victim as well. And in no way, shape, or form am I judging her now. Because she's not in that lifestyle no more. Thank you, Kelly B. Max, I would rather you be there as boots on the ground in the courtroom like you have been. You said taking care of the older female content creators there. You got me from the jump, bro. She's not that old, yo. She's in here. No, she's not that old. Thank you, Kelly. Kelly B. I mean, that's like she's like around my age. I think I'm older than she is actually. I'm pretty sure I am. She's a young whippersnapper. But yeah, I hung out with look Chantel laughing. I hung out with her and yeah, I did take care of her. I made sure I'm cool like that. At least that's another one that could vouch for me that I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm normal. Some people out here are normal, man. But it's something about my character and my vibe that she felt comfortable with, like immediately. And I thought it was cool because she was coming from New Jersey. I'm coming from New Jersey. So it was like, it was cool to have somebody to drive in with. And no, she wasn't elderly. She probably not listening at this particular time because she might be doing content, but she wasn't here earlier. You said that convo is going over my head. What convo, Lashane? You said that convo is going over my head. What convo? But thank you for the blessing, though. You said, I know she's probably not that old. I'm just saying, I know for a fact that you are a good guy. Thank you. I appreciate it. I know I get what you're saying, Kelly. I mean, we just all joking. Thank you. Yeah, it was cool because I had somebody to roll in with. And okay, you said, what was your thoughts when the personal assistant said he would set up the room for Diddy and Kim Porter? I was like, wait, what? Okay. Thank you, Kelly. You said, who are y'all calling the lady? The one that, yeah, the one that was carpooling with you, LaShane. Okay, so let me go to your question real quick. You got a good one. You said, what was your thoughts when the personal assistant said he would set up the room for Diddy and Kim Porter? I was like, wait, what? Now, he did mention when he used to set up the rooms for Diddy and Kim Porter that he would have lotions in the room and no baby oil. So that made me feel like he wasn't having freak offs with Kim Porter because the room would be set up a little different. It would still have candles and stuff like that, but instead of the baby oil, he would have lotions, like nice lotions and stuff like that, or whatever lotions Kim wanted. It just happened like that, the black screen. I don't know why. It did used to have my picture on it, then it just went black. I'm not sure. It must be a glitch with YouTube or something. Or I might have to update the YouTube app. And also, speaking of Kim Porter, he said that Diddy treated her differently than the other girlfriends. He said that as far as the other girlfriends, Kim was above that. She was above being a girlfriend. He said the assistant said that Kim was somebody that it was somebody that he had patience for, and she was above being a girlfriend, and it was somebody he really, 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 really respected. So yeah, so that was somebody she was like above all the other girlfriends. But I don't think he was doing. It kind of made me feel like he wasn't doing freak offs with her. You said, who is Gina? Did they give her last name at all. No, they didn't give her last name, but she's on. You could find her on Instagram. Gina was his girlfriend. Was one of his girlfriends, and she's younger than Cassie. She was younger. And Cassie didn't care for Gina. She did not. And her friend, even though her ex-friend that testified, even though she's not friends with Cassie anymore, she called Gina that girl Gina. That's how she referred to her, even still to this day. You said in her book, it was said that every time she got pregnant. Yeah, I heard that in the book. And I'm not sure if Gina's going to be testifying. I don't know about that, but it's crazy with the roster. You don't really get it really unless they at the end the judge will say who you have for tomorrow, and they'll say a couple people, but it's hard to get that list. You said, Max, do you notice that Kim he respected and appreciated, and she was above the other girls was were a different descent? I think he felt that with Kim because she was like us. I don't know. Well, Cassie was like us too. I mean, she was mixed, but mixed ancestry, but maybe that's why. You said he didn't respect Kim because he would have married her. Yeah, he was doing freak offs. How do you feel about the call Cassie made about the video where she said she will kill? Oh, she would kill who has it. To me, that's a lot. She's an organized. Well, I didn't believe her when she said that she was going to have him killed. I think she just really wanted to know how he got that video. She was just talking shit, like, because she was mad. He didn't respect any of the women, men or women, really. Everyone was an object for his play. Yeah, I felt that way too, Chantel. You said, no, Max, Cassie is mixed. Kim, I know she's, I just said it, she's mixed. Mixed ancestry. Her father's Filipino. Yeah. She looked like her father, too. Cassie looked like her father. They had the same eyes and everything. And often she referred to him as her twin. But I want to say this, though. Cassie on the stand, she did a really good job. And I would think because of her condition, she would be. But no, she did very well. She answered the questions, and hey, I'm there to answer them. And that's it. But I'm going to tell this to you again, God. I want to stress this. I do not judge Cassie off her past because that's her past. Everybody has a past. You can redefine yourself overnight. It's in your mind. So you're not that person no more. You're not that person no more. You're somebody else now. But what you have gained is experience where you can teach other people not to get in that situation. That's what she is. She has gained OG experience. So no, I don't blame her for that. And like I said, Diddy also can redefine himself at any time. He's not the same person no more. Like as of sitting there today, same thing. But here's the thing. If you guys still feel like it's not a criminal enterprise, I'm not arguing with you. You know why? Because this is a very different case here. That is what's hanging people up. That's what people don't understand. That's why we keep having these conversations. Like, damn, like, is this a criminal organization or what? You know, a lot of legal analysts are studying this case. It's a very good case. You say you think Diddy craved a full African woman to fulfill his desires. However, we are not going to give in any way he desire. We're too powerful now. Are you talking about giving to the freak offs? There's plenty of people out there be willing to freak off with him. You know what I'm saying? Especially if he gets off, now that they know he like that shit. There's plenty of people, women, to do it for the money. Hey, Buff, if you give me 10 to 20,000 a session, I'll do it with you. He ain't gonna have problems. If he get out, he ain't gonna have problems finding somebody to freak off now. He ain't gonna have no problems. That's because the prosecution isn't putting it in easy work. Right, they're not, Ryan. It's like they playing chess. But this is a very good case for us to talk about and try to learn. Because this is not a normal RICO case. It's not. That's why people are thinking he might get off, because it's like I told you guys, we just sitting here having a conversation about it. My comment, I have to say that I have to keep giving this disclaimer. I'm not trying to minimize what I'm saying, but it's true. My opinions don't matter. They do not. We just having a conversation, right? My opinions don't matter. It's only the jury opinion that matters. And if the defense did a good job to get the jurors on their side, then they did their job. Really only have to get one on their side, to be honest with you. But the reason why they want more on their side, because when they do the poll, then, you know, especially if it's a hung jury, let me poll you anyway. They'll at least know, okay, this many people didn't agree with us. So we really gonna have to go back to the drawing board and change our strategy for the next trial. So none of us African full women who are going to be about that full time. He resorted to these that would. You should have a feeling the jury won't fully understand what the prosecution is saying. Ryan, that's another thing. They might not understand this fully, so they might just be like, I'm not guilty. They could do that too. If he's found not guilty on all charges, I'm not mad at that. Or if they hung up on the charges, I'm not mad with that either. So, yeah, like we said, I'm not taking sides. I'm just trying to see the angles. That was the purpose of this. I'm trying to see the angles of it. But whatever happens, happens. Yeah, man, it's he said the defense team filed a motion to get rid of the expert witness testimony thrown out. The lady who is getting paid $600 per hour. Yeah, but I don't understand why would they put it in a difficult way to understand. They should make it easier to understand. I know they're going about it that way, Ryan. Yeah, I agree. They should make it to where it's not difficult, but they're going about it their way. It's definitely something we would like kind of never experienced before with a Rico situation. But guys, again, the purpose of this is just I'm just trying to see where the government is trying to go here. What's their angle? And as far as and also like I mean, what's their strategy and is this going to be effective or not? We're going to have to wait and see. Like I said, for the jury. Yep, it's craziness. But trying to see if there's anything else along those lines. No, just what I like what the lawyer was saying. It's like he said he believed he cracked it. He said what Cassie doing is she's a co-conspirator. And she's laying out what they did illegally. Interesting, man. You said they need more concrete evidence on the RICO charge for criminal purposes and not sexual choices and preferences. What was done illegally to defraud and extort monies from the government. Laws broken. Well, I think um, well we're also I had just talked about that just for this whole video, but we're also gonna see with more people testifying. You said I feel there's no proof of him lining up the car. No, there's no proof of him actually doing it per se himself, but there's text message of him saying he wanted it done. So it's a circumstantial situation. So look, if I say I'm gonna do something to your car, and eventually something happened to your car, you're gonna think I did it. Because what are the odds of me saying I want to do something to your car and something happened to your car? It's like kind of crazy. Yeah, I did. I was talking about that earlier. Like, what I think of Young Thug calling Kid Cudi a rat. I would say this: that word is used loosely. Um, that's like a glorified Hollywood term. Like, oh, I'm not a rat, and this and that. And in real life, a lot of people tell him. And yeah, I'm just thinking about it because I know people are saying, well, where is the crime committed? Cassie is describing it. She's a co-conspirator. She's describing the crime. And then she also said, well, we used to take him to Miami or wherever we at. That's for the purposes of sex. And they paid them for that because one guy said he didn't get paid because he couldn't perform. So he didn't get paid. You says that do they have proof that he did it? Video foot? They don't need that. You don't need a smoking gun. Remember, it's circumstantial. It's you don't need a smoking gun for the conviction. You have to take everything that's said in its totality. You got to take all the evidence and weigh it. The jury, not me. The jury has to weigh all the evidence in its totality to come up with a verdict. They don't need a smoking gun. But if you believe that he's totally innocent, I'm not knocking you for that. We need people in here to say that so we can have conversation on why you think that way. So yeah, I thank you for your comment because we got to have people feeling that way. Because some people listening do feel that he is innocent. Yes. Now, me personally, I'm not gonna try to even predict the outcome on this case. It's just whatever the jury decide. And I have to keep giving you this disclaimer. My opinion doesn't matter because the jury opinion matters. We're just having a conversation. So every now and then I have to provide that disclaimer because it's really is true. You, okay, you said no. I believe he's guilty of everything, but you feel like they didn't prove it. Um, and here's another thing I want to say. Let's say if the jury um, thinks that he did it. Let's say if they have that mindset. That's not good enough. What you mean you think he did it? What you mean you think? You got to let him walk. It's beyond reasonable doubt. You have to, it has to be beyond reasonable doubt. You can't be like, well, you know what? I kind of think he did it. That's not good enough. If after this, if I think he kind of did it, I'll have to say I have to vote not guilty. Okay, so Kelly B said, I believe that he is guilty 100. Don't get me wrong, but they are not convincing the jury. Okay, cool. So look, if they're not convincing the jury, then he will get acquitted. That's just simple as that. I believe he is guilty also. Now, you know, some people believe that he will be found guilty on something. But I had said early in my other video, he don't want to be found guilty on nothing. The idea is to be found not guilty on everything, so he can come home. Let me see what the years carry. Hold on. Okay, that's not too bad. Okay, that's not too bad. So it carries up to 5 years. So that's really not that bad if that's all he getting convicted on. Because it carries up to 5 years. Up to 5 years. It carries up to 5 years. Up to 5 years. That's not that bad. Hold on, let me see something. And if it's also a felon in possession of firearm, it could carry up to 10 years. But he's not a felon. He was found not guilty. So he's not a felon in possession of a firearm. So yeah, that's not bad. If that's all they get him on, he only facing 5 years. So and he already got a just about a year time served. So he's looking at 4. He'll be out in 2. In 2 years and some change. So even though like the guns look bad, it's not facing that much time on that. I mean, considering he could face life. Okay, right. You said while on jury, I knew in my heart that defendant was guilty. However, the plaintiffs did not bring it. So us as the jury had no other choice other than to acquit. Sad, but you know why it's like that? You know why it's like that? Because you want to ensure that innocent people don't get convicted of something they didn't do. You have to look at this and this. I got this from Ronald Sullivan. He was on the Aaron Hernandez defense team along with Jose Baez. He was the head of the legal department at Harvard. He said you have to he said this on a TED talk. You have to rigorously defend the guilty as if they're innocent, so that the playing field could be level, so that you won't have innocent people going to jail. That's why. That's why the burden of proof is so high in criminal cases. The state or the government has the highest burden of proof. They have to prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt. So you won't have people like Khalif Browder being fingered for something he didn't do, and he go to jail and things happen to him. He get out and he off himself because he can't take it. That wasn't his fault. There's a lot of people that's in jail right now for crimes they didn't commit. It's just too many. So that's why the burden is so high and things have to be taken a certain way. It doesn't matter whether you like him or not. If they can't prove this beyond reasonable doubt, you have to let him walk. It doesn't matter how you feel about him. So that's why we have any, I'm telling you guys, I want to say this. We're not having these discussions to try to make him look bad or to try to get him convicted. That is not my intent. My intent is to study this legally so we can learn something. I gotta also keep in mind that, he got kids, stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's like brainstorming. That's what we're doing. So we're not trying to sit up here. That's why I gotta keep giving these disclaimers. Like, I'm not trying to make him look bad or her. Like, we're just sitting up here trying to figure this out. Like that lawyer's trying to figure it out. He felt like he cracked the case. He's like, wait a minute. She's describing that she's a co-conspirator. So, but that's how to look at it, You said our asses would be under the jail and there would be no doubt. We must do better. Yeah, you talking about we don't have money for adequate defense. You said if he did a crime, he should do the time regardless if he had kids. Oh no, right, if he's found guilty, right. Right, old boy, they have not testified yet. Yep. Yeah, it's collective minds together, right. Trying to figure this out. And also, do you guys know why this is open to the public? It's a beautiful thing that in our judicial system as well, no matter if it's state or federal. Now, the only court that you probably wasn't going to be able to sit in is when Trump was going through his stuff. You probably wasn't going to sit in there because he's a former sitting president. He has a Secret Service in there. So they can't let just anybody near him. So that was the only environment that it wasn't open. It was open to some of the press, though. But the reason was beautiful about this, right? Because Diddy has witnesses, which is us, the public, that they give him a fair trial. If they don't, we're there as witnesses that he didn't get a fair trial. Okay, so that's why we're able to come in there and sit in there so we can make sure we are witnesses that he has a fair trial. We can say that. And also, we have a right to know who's accusing him, even the public. He has a right and we have a right. Did you know that? We all have a right because we want to make sure that they're not buffaloing him around. So we are his eyes. We are his backup. Because I can come to you and say, guys, they're not giving him a fair shake here. You said just say no to the free code. Yep, that's why due process is necessary, because we right here. You say you wonder if Hard Pierre is right, man will testify. I know I haven't heard from Hard. His name did come up. His name did come up, believe it or not. But it only came up like once or twice. He said, so if they buffalo him around and they give him a guilty verdict, what can we do to change that? If they are breaking the law, we're witnesses to it. If something happens to where he got his rights like violated and we know about it, we can report it. And we're there to have witnessed it. Brian, I've heard that. He's trying to push for a mistrial. I'm going to say this. You know what? I had a thought, and I don't know. I can't back this up. If he lose this case, he got action in the appeals. Yeah, he would definitely have action if something happened. I can also see this case going all the way to the Supreme Court. This case might set precedent. It might. So, it's like people keep saying it's a DV case, Max. This don't seem right. I know why it don't seem right. Because when you're thinking RICO, you're thinking mafia, gangs. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of racketeering. So, yep. Yeah, you said it's a case worthy of Supreme Court review. You said it's deeper than that. There's layers. Yeah, I honestly believe this could. He might have some action. We'll see. But right now he's not even there yet. He's trying to get a favorable verdict. So I'm trying to see all sides to this. Like I'm gonna try to take their side and see what they're thinking. I'm trying to take the you know prosecution way of thinking. I'm trying to listen to other different legal experts to see what they're saying. So trying to get like that full perspective. But you're right. There's a lot of layers to this. Definitely a lot of layers. But he definitely got good representation. I give him that. He does. So yeah, that's the only thing you could hope for. But everybody don't have that ability to have like good representation or have the money for it. You said it's hard to be unbiased with so much information already out there. Yeah, so anyway, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate the conversation, and we'll be back tomorrow. Um, at some point, tomorrow's a holiday, but Tuesday court picks back up. Tuesday morning. So we're gonna see what happens there. But yeah, we'll continue this discussion tomorrow at some point. But yeah, man, thank you, Ryan. You said the machine needs to be outed on a different. I know you're talking about the machine, but right now they haven't. All right, y'all. I'll catch you guys later.